Shalom, family. It's your brother Benaiah Ben Israel. And can I tell you something? This is something epic. The first of its kind. A monumental event of historical proportions. You see, the African Israelite Justice Foundation is hosting an event in Charleston, South Carolina, November the 15th through the 17th, called the My History, My Heritage Empowerment Summit, in partnership with Gullah Geechee Tours to provide a once-in-a-lifetime conference experience. On November the 15th through the 17th of this year, Israelites all around the world will gather where the sun turned into darkness and the moon did not give her light, and the sign of the Son of Man did appear in heaven. The My History, My Heritage Empowerment Summit will offer historical tours both day and night by the one and only Gullah Geechee Tours. We also plan to offer authentic Gullah Geechee cuisine by the granddaughter of world-renowned Gullah Geechee cuisine chef, Emily Migrates. We also plan to host a beach or park Sabbath day service and fellowship, culminating with an African Israelite Justice Foundation conference in the heart of Charleston on the historical grounds of an African Israelite resting place with a replica ship and a plantation house. You see, to know where you're going, you have to know where you've been and learn how we can repair the breaches in the walls of Jerusalem together and help defend our heritage, our history, and by the grace and mercy of the Most High Yah, be empowered to victory. Hallelujah. Well, family, come on out and join us in Charleston, South Carolina, November the 15th through the 17th, and be a part of this unforgettable weekend where history, heritage, and empowerment converge. Well, hope to see you there, Israel. Take care and shalom.
Hey, family. Hey. All right. So the word is out and we're able to pub it now. That's the promo for the upcoming conference that we're having November 15th through the 17th. You'll have people there like Pastor Kelly Richardson. You'll have Sister Carlos Lewis on Facebook. I think her ministry is a Hebrew Way. I think it's called Hebrew. I can't remember. I'm going to have her up here one day soon. You're going to have Benaiah Israel. He's going to be there. And then I'm going to be there as well. So you're going to have quite a few people. Larvins, the musician. Y'all know who Larvins is. He's going to be there. The Geechee Gullah Tour. We're going to have that as well. So y'all come on out. It's going to be in Charleston, South Carolina. Me and all of us, we've been actively working on getting this done for the past couple of months, y'all. And we finally were able to get a place to hold the big event. One of the events will be, I think, this Sunday when we'll have the conference where you'll see all of us there. You'll see all of us there throughout the entire event from beginning to end. But we'll be there. Everybody will be there. It's going to be fun. My brother Benaiah Israel, he's been working hard. He's the president of the organization. And I'm a part of it. Like I said, Pastor Kelly is a part of it. Larvin, Sister Carlos, all of us, Carlos Lewis, if y'all have ever heard of her and her husband and their ministry. So I don't want to miss any names. Just it's a whole bunch of us that are in it. So again, it'll be November 15th. And y'all, guess what? November 15th is me and Dante's birthday. It'll be my birthday that day. And I was laughing with him. I said, so we're going to have an event that Friday night for my birthday. So I'll be spending my birthday with you all. So it'll be November 15th. I'm excited. I'm excited. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna hold on one second. My family watching the movie. Hold on. Cut the TV down. So yeah. So I we will have a good time. Um, it'll be fun. It'll be full of activities. It'll be so much going on. I'm gonna get my mind right for all the interaction, and I hope to see some of y'all there. Again, we're planning it for November 15th through the 17th, so it'll be a whole weekend event. I think Pastor Kelly will be doing a Sabbath service. It'll be that Saturday. They have the Gullah Geechee tours that Friday, and then the Sunday will be the big conference where all of us will be there. And we'll be, hosting the overall event. So hopefully some of you all are coming. So eventually in the next, I want to say week, we're going to have the site ready for you to purchase tickets. Um, Tickets aren't expensive. Tickets not expensive at all for the conference. So it'll be fun though. It'll be fun, and I look forward to seeing everybody who comes. And somebody said, "Can I get a ride, family?" You in New York? I'm gonna have to fly in for some of y'all. If you in New York, I'm flying. I'm not driving 11 hours to Charleston because at first that was the plan. I said I can drive there. Then I said, wait a minute, that's an 11-hour drive. I said, no, I ain't gonna be able to do that one. So I'll be flying in. So Rio trying to find him a comfortable spot, y'all. That's funny. So, so yeah, come on, come on, come on. So let's get to the business. Before I do this, I'm gonna play one more commercial for one of our brothers. His name is y'all know Moray Vaughn from Greater Awakening. He's gonna be there as well at the event. He has something very, very good for and very I've used his seasonings before. If you like jerk seasoning for like chicken, you like jerk seasoning for your fish, any seasonings, he's created a healthy seasoning that don't have the food additives that normal seasoning have, like MSG. We know MSG is horrible. So I'm gonna play this real quick, and then we can get right into the business of the live.
Caribbean Kitchen, Foods offers 7 unique blends of premium, low-sodium Jamaican seasoning that will add a burst of flavor to your dishes. Our authentic all-natural Jamaican seasonings are a game changer when it comes to adding a burst of flavor to your dishes. Our products are kosher, all-natural, contains ingredients that are gluten-free and GMO-free. Our seasonings are handcrafted with the highest quality ingredients. We source our ingredients from the Caribbean to capture the authentic taste of the islands. Unleash your creativity in the kitchen and savor the taste of the Caribbean with our spice blends. Enjoy our variety of seasonings that are flavor packed to deliver the best taste for your dishes. Get ready to create delicious meals that will excite your taste buds and leave your guests asking for more. Try our exclusive curry and jerk seasonings for an extraordinary cooking experience. Our blends are an excellent choice for chicken, meat, fish, and vegan dishes. Add a burst of flavor to your cooking with our top quality Jamaican seasonings. Grab one of our bundles and enjoy the taste of the islands.
All right, let's get to it, family. All right. Like I said, check out our brother seasonings. I've bought them before. And you need the link to the site. Hold on, let me get the link. Hold on. Let me find the link, and then y'all can we can get started. Let's see. I'm gonna drop that link. Caribbean Kitchen. Here is the link for that. Okay, so y'all, let's get it started. Let's get it. So, oh, you bought a bunch of them. I gotta buy some. I'm out, y'all. I'm out. So I need to go and get my order together so I can get some stuff. I like the chicken seasoning. I use a lot of the chicken seasoning and the fish seasoning. Fish seasoning is delicious. I usually put the fish seasoning on my salmon. So it is really good. And I'm out of it since I've moved. I need to go get some more and restock my cabinet so that I can, it's really, really, really good seasonings. I'll say that. It's good quality seasonings and you can taste it. You can taste that it's not, it doesn't have the additives and the bad stuff in it. It actually tastes very good. All right, y'all, let's get it started. So with that being said, y'all, let's talk about this migrant situation. Let me shut this door because Rio keep walking in and out and knocking this door open. Hold on. All right, let's get started. So shout out to everybody that has joined us. Shout out to everybody. Diamond, to Car, Beverly, what's going on? What's going on? Trayvon, Cam to play. What's going on? What's going on, y'all? So let's get it started. So y'all, I have been really, 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 really keeping up, and I told y'all, and I promised y'all that I would go back to the migrant conversation. There is how can I say, people are now beginning to notice, especially in the Black community, how the migrants are being treated. All this money that they're getting, all the housing that they're getting. And the biggest thing when we look at this presidential election, which is their election, they really don't give two hoots about us until it's time to go to the polls. The biggest thing is the migrant crisis. They're calling it a crisis because it is kind of crisis. It is a crisis ish. Hold on, Master coming in here for me. So with that being said, y'all, let me get straight to it. My daughter was talking to me. Master, shut the door, please, baby. Let me play this. Oh, my glasses. I need to look for my glasses. um, this week. Let me see. I'm gonna play this. Video right here. So here we go. All right, let's get it going. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Are y'all ready? Oh, yeah, thank you. Thank you. You need to roll fair. Yep, thank you. I almost forgot. Thank y'all for reminding me. Let me do this real quick. And let me do this. And then we can get started. I'm glad y'all caught me because I was getting ready to get straight into it and hadn't said my thing. Okay, so copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, new reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. So let me put my little banner on at the bottom and we can get started. I know I almost got caught. They almost got me. So let me go ahead and share. You know, these folks love to report me. Hold on. Fair use. Again, I'm going to say fair use.
The Biden administration launched a new program today that would help a specific group of immigrants gain citizenship. It's called Keeping Families Together. Announced back in June, it will offer legal status to nearly 500,000 who are married to American citizens. Some children who have U.S. citizens as parents are also eligible. CBS News immigration and politics reporter Camilo Montoya Galvez joins us now from Arizona. Camilo, again, always a pleasure to have you on this broadcast. What requirements are necessary for immigrants to qualify for this program?
Hi, Jerika. This will be the biggest immigration program created by the executive branch since that 2012 DACA program for so-called Dreamers created by the Obama administration at the time. And to qualify, undocumented immigrants must be married to a U.S. citizen. They also must have lived here in the U.S. continuously for at least 10 years, a decade, and they must importantly pass background checks to make sure that they do not pose a threat to either national security or public safety. Importantly, according to policy guidance issued just today, immigrants who are convicted of any felony will be ineligible for the process, and those who have other criminal records will be adjudicated. Their cases will be adjudicated on a case-by-case basis. And again, this is, as you mentioned, something that could benefit up to 500,000 undocumented spouses of U.S. citizens. They will be allowed to apply for temporary work permits and deportation protections, but perhaps more importantly, this will also allow these eligible immigrants who are married to U.S. citizens to apply for green card status or permanent residence here in the U.S. without having to leave the country. Right now, many of them have to actually leave the country, go back to their home country, and then come back legally to get a green card, a process that can actually trigger a 10-year ban from the U.S. because they have lived here in the country illegally for some time. This process will prevent that from happening and will allow these immigrants to get that green card without having to leave the country. After immigrants get a green card, Jerika, they can apply for U.S. citizenship after several years.
What are some of the criticisms? Because as you know, people might hear that and think, oh, you're making it easier. They're not going through the proper protocols. But this program has obviously been set up because for good reason. It's been well researched before they put it out. But what are some of the criticisms and legal challenges that this proposal faces?
It's a good question, Jerika, because while the Biden administration and advocates believe that this policy promotes family unity and promotes the integration of immigrant households here.
Now let's get straight to it. So when has family unity been a part of their agenda? We know ultimately what the Dems are trying to do here. I'm not Democrat nor Republican. Let me clarify that. I'm just here, just trying to live life and survive. Because there are both sides. I have yet to see truly bring anything to the Black community sometimes. And I mean, the worst of the worst, I'm going to be honest, Democrats are the worst. Talking about somebody who was a Democrat, never really understood the concept of being a Democrat, only because if you're Black, you're Democrat. But when you really start pulling behind the veil and you start really looking behind the curtain, you see who are really pulling the strings and the agenda behind it. One, Democrats don't promote the traditional family. We know that. You know, Democrats as well have a tendency to lean towards feeding us lies. A lot of lies came out. My biggest thing is I have yet to see Kamala. And what's interesting is Kamala is constantly saying what she's going to do when she gets into office, and we're sitting here saying, wait, you think we're idiots? You've been in office. So why haven't any of these programs that, one, we don't really know what the programs are. They're not really giving us details on what the programs are. But all these changes you're talking about, why were they not made during the 4 years of you being the vice president? So we already know some games to that. But ultimately, think about it, 500,000 immigrants access with their children. They have to be married to U.S. citizens. You know what that's about. That's replacing the black vote. The black vote is too powerful and they know it. They know it, and it pisses them off. It pisses them off that the Rio is really going off right now. The black vote can shift an entire presidential election, and they don't want ninjas to have that much power. They won't. They don't. They don't. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna open up every single border and let every single one of them in, and we're gonna let them do. What's crazy is, as soon as they take them in, they're gonna lock them up when they've served their purpose. But that's the only thing that they want to do. They're trying to replace the black vote. Black vote has too much power, and that's their biggest thing. So
here in the U.S. who have a U.S. citizen member. Republicans and Republican-led states have said that this is an amnesty, that this is rewarding illegal immigration, that this will encourage more people to come to the border. It is important to underscore, Jarika, that this does not benefit recent arrivals. It only benefits, again, people who are married to U.S. citizens and who have lived here for at least 10 years. But the argument from the Republican side is that this rewards illegal immigration because it is benefiting people here who are in the country unlawfully. It is also important to note that this is likely to be challenged in federal court by states like Texas and other Republican-led states that have challenged virtually every single major immigration action by the Biden administration.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if people would just kind of stay in the shadows, if you will, as concerns continue in terms of possible legal challenges. Camilo Montoya Galvez in Arizona, thank you.
School is back, and
that's the biggest thing. If you notice, now it's becoming a talking piece. Folks are living hard. U.S. citizens that was born here, parents born here, have had citizenship. They're the ones that are feeling the pain of the economy. I'm not gonna say we're feeling the pain of the economy. Think about it. All the funding that's been given to the migrants, all the funding that's been given to these wars are our tax dollars, and our tax dollars are not benefiting us. One of the things that I've heard within New York and in other states, that some of these hotels that at one time were luxurious hotels have literally been turned into migrant shelters. And people are, and not to mention, they're getting free money, EBT, they're getting free everything. And then what's going on now is they're bringing the worst of the worst over here. You're hearing about shootings all in New York. You're hearing about shootings all in Chicago. Denver, they pretty much kicked the poor residents out of their apartment and pretty much letting the migrants take over. They're trying to say, oh, we evicted them because we needed to do renovations to it and we were under code. And truth be told, there's a video that I saw. It's so much cussing in it, I don't want to play it. But she used to be in that apartment, one of those apartments, and she was complaining that they're not telling the whole story. We know these folks a lie; they walk-in liars. She's ultimately saying that it's the migrants is the reason why they were kicked out. That's pretty much it. So hold on, I'll play another video. Hold on. I'm finna find a video and get ready to talk to y'all. But I mean, ultimately, people are out of it. People are just, their money's not working for them. I want to play this video, y'all, and it's got some cussing in it. Yeah, I'm not gonna play it. I will go see the video by it's a lot of cussing. I'm trying to see. Let me read the words and make sure it's not that much cussing. I haven't seen it in a while. Yeah, it's too much cussing. I'm gonna hold off on that. It's not that y'all can't handle it. I don't trust YouTube right now. YouTube looking for any and everything. And she sent all types of MFs and all types of stuff. I'm a big girl, you know. I ain't gonna say I never cussed, but I'll put it like this: I'll give the video to y'all, and y'all go look at it at your leisure. How is that? Let me send that video to me and my email, and I'm gonna give it to you all, and y'all listen to it, and y'all tell me what y'all's thoughts are. But she is thoroughly pissed off. She is pissed off. She made a point to say, how would you feel if you get home from work and then all of a sudden you can't get into your apartment? Man, she was going off, and I'm thinking that she was a person that was living in their apartment. So I'm gonna send it to y'all. I ain't playing no more with YouTube. They looking for any and everything right now, because a lot of these individuals that we, and you know what, a lot of people that we would consider to be liberals are the ones that want to censor us. I just hate to say that. And I used to hear Dante say it all the time. And I used to be kind of like, ugh, Dante, I can't believe you like the I'm like, I would never be a Republican. But then I see what Dante is talking about. I'm beginning to see that. But there's the video. Y'all watch it. Y'all go look at it, and then y'all can tell me what y'all's thoughts are. It's quite interesting. But I can play this one for y'all. Let me send this to myself, and I'm gonna play this one for y'all as well. Gmail. All right, I got another one I'm going to play for y'all. Oh, come on now, y'all. My email is moving real slow, y'all. But I mean, ultimately, when I start playing these videos, y'all going to see what I'm talking about. They getting all types of funding. And here it is. We're in the middle of an economic crisis right now. And it shows they care nothing about their citizens. They really, 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 really want to push people out. That's the goal. That's the goal. We're going to push you out. Which email did I send it to? Hold on. Which email did I send it to? Hold on, y'all. I sent it to my email. It hadn't got to me yet. Where is it? Let me see. Did it go to my... 1 second. Come on. Not today, Gmail. Not today. Fudge. I almost cussed. Okay, this is done now. I'm wondering where it went. Okay. All right, here we go. I was hoping it didn't go to my work. I was like, "Ooh, please don't let it go to my work." Here we go.
Eric Donowitz says furniture is now being moved in New York City Hall tonight, confirming that it's opening another migrant shelter, this one in the Riverdale section of the Bronx. City Councilman Eric Donowitz says furniture is now being moved into 435 West 238th Street, which used to be a Manhattan college dorm. Dozens of neighbors holding a protest when word first spread last year of a possible shelter there. City Hall says the shelter will house and feed 95 families. City says it's not contracted to be a permanent or long-term facility.
And the thing is this. The question, and they never answer it. If you listen to a lot of the Democrats talk in these conventions, especially DNC, the migrant crisis really never came up. I was listening for it. They made the little bit that they did talk about it. They more so talked about it like the U.S. is one big sanctuary city. That's the attitude that they had. But all the while, they having this DNC event outside. Citizens are not being heard, and the citizens, they really wasn't fighting over the migrant issue. They was more so fighting over the issue in Israel and the Palestinians. But it is still, your citizens have a grievance. Y'all don't want to listen to them. Y'all don't want to listen to them. It was almost like watching those movies. Have you ever seen those movies when the elites are having an event and then outside all hell is breaking loose and they're treating them like they're peasants and they don't matter? But it's like, we pay taxes. Everybody pay taxes. They eat the hell out of my check. My check, soon as I get it, Uncle Sam and New York get a chunk out of it. To the point I'm like, so I'm paying y'all for what service? And see, politicians don't realize they've gotten the attitude like we got to take it. That is your job to fulfill the needs of the citizens. And it's changed. It's changed. Like, we're being lazy. Like, oh no, we got to do this. If your citizens are saying no, guess what? You got to listen to them. But it's not about the citizens anymore. It's about getting those numbers together, because the Black community as a whole is not playing with them anymore. Black community is not stupid. I was listening to this lady. Her name is what is her name? Michaela Montgomery. That's her name. And Michaela Montgomery were pointing out things that Democrats have said and they never fulfilled. Now, keep in mind, she's a Trumper. She's a part of that Trump crew. I mean, to each his own. But she was stating the obvious when it came to how Democrats ignore us. They ignore the citizens. It's just like, it doesn't matter. We know what's best. Y'all don't. And we're going to make the decisions, regardless if y'all want it or not. And what's going on now is the Black community is not falling for it anymore. One of the biggest supporters of Democrats are the Black voters. Black voters play a major part in Democrats getting into the office. But the biggest part, right, the problem now is Black voters are no longer running to the Democratic ticket. They not running to it. They're asking for something called tangibles. And because the need for these tangibles, and we noticing we ain't getting it, it's a problem. I was listening to Michaela talk about how, I think it was Michaela, why is Meg the Stallion on the stage? Because the DNC was one big, y'all remember the movie Hollywood Shuffle? Hollywood Dang Shuffle. It was ninjas galore. Every single time you saw a screen, a camera, you see ninjas performing, ninjas speaking, ninjas this. They just loved us in the DNC convention. But once the votes are cast and a decision is made of who the president is, guess what? Democrats say, okay, I'm done listening to Black people. Now let me move on to LGBTQ requests. Let me fulfill the needs of the Asian community. Let me fulfill the needs of the immigrants. Let me fulfill the needs of white America. Let me fulfill the needs of every community but us. But when we complain that they're not fulfilling our needs, why are you whining? I should not have to create a bill just for Black people. Well, you have an Asian hate law. Jewish community get exactly what they need. They got all types of anti-Semitic laws. I mean, you can't say nothing without getting slammed. And guess what? That bill was specifically set aside for them. So Black people are now at the point where they're like, I'm sick of this. I'm sick and tired of going to the polls and voting for the Democrat that is supposed to be the, and people say vote local. You can vote local, but if local ain't doing what they supposed to do, I mean, guess what? It's a catch. And even if local is in there trying to do it, if they're getting pushback from federal, what can they do? Their hands are tied sometimes. But most of these local politicians about lining their pockets. So Black people should help these migrants get out of the white community so they can get jobs and homes with pools. But I mean, I'm sitting here and I'm like, I'm looking at this, y'all. I gotta learn how to put my comments on the screen. But I mean, it's like why are you all whining? Why are you complaining? And what's going on? Black people are moving away from the Democratic ticket. I never thought this was going to happen. I never foresaw this happening. Never foresaw this. I never saw this coming. And now we're in a situation where you can't put a black or possibly a blackish person in front of us to make us vote. Did that with Obama, and we ran to the polls. Ran to the polls, didn't care, didn't think anything about it. We finna vote. Even if he ain't got no agenda for us, we finna vote. But now we're not running to the vote anymore. I heard something today. They said black people are the only people that vote out of fear. Out of fear. I'm going to play this, and then we're going to get back into the migrants. But it's feeding into that migrant conversation. They used to fearmonger us, and I'm going to play it. It is. Who was it? I know it was Dr. Umar. It was on TikTok. Let me go find it real quick. He said, we are the only ones that vote out of fear. I'm going to vote anybody in, so it won't be Trump. And what happens is we do this, and then we still get a shoddy deal. And then can't understand why this stuff ain't working for us. It wasn't designed for it to work for us. But yet it took us a minute to see that. Let me see. Hopefully I can find it. Watch history. Where is it? Dr. Umar. He said, we are the only community that vote out of fear. Where is it? I've been watching a bunch of videos on TikTok. Here it is. Let me send it to myself. I'm finna send it and I'm going to play it. It's going to feed into the migrant conversation. It's going to feed into it, but I need to kind of set it up so y'all can see what I'm talking about. Let me see. Did it? Okay. Let me see. I'm trying to find it. Give me a second, y'all. I'm having some TikTok issues. All right. Let me go back. But I mean, while I'm trying to pull that up, but it is true. We are the only ones that vote out of desperation. Out of desperation. We're not voting to benefit us. We're voting because we're afraid of the other candidate. Wrong, right, or indifferent. We're going to vote Democrat because we're scared of what the Republicans going to do. And they have fear-mongered us for so long that generations are voting for Democrats and can't tell you what their plan is. Who are they getting? And the thing is, because of our death, we're no longer voting out of desperation and fear anymore. We're enemy number one. That's all they cared about was your vote. Your vote was very important to them. Understand, your vote carried a lot of weight. It still carries a lot of weight, and they know it. And it scares the heck out of them. It scares them. I'm going to play it. Found it. All right, it made it to me. I'm finna play it. And it's going to go into the other part of what I'm saying. And it answers the question of, no, I don't want that video. Here it is. This was profound. When I heard this,
never get anything. Black people in America never get anything when they vote. So how do they motivate us to vote if we never get nothing when we do? Fear. Black people are the only constituency in this country who vote out of fear. In other words, I'm not voting to stop police brutality because they're not going to stop it. I'm not voting to change mass incarceration. They're not going to change it. I'm not voting to fix the schools. They're never going to fix them. So what you voting for? Because I'm afraid of what Trump might do. You see that? That's how we vote. Fear. Now, when the Jews go to the polls, when the Latinos go to the polls, when the Arabs, the East Indians, the Anglo-Saxons go to the polls, they're going for concessions. I'm getting something out of this vote. I'm getting something that we already agreed upon before Election Day. Black people are getting nothing. We vote out of fear. Our motivation is fear. Joe Biden may do nothing for you, but Donald Trump will be worse. See how that works? This is how they get us out. The black man is the only one in the voting line voting because he's scared of what the other man might do to him.
Y'all see that? That's the reason. Because when I talk to people and I ask people, why are you voting for? I just ask question. Why are you voting? Because black people are still voting. I know the Israelite community is like, I'm not voting either side. We're not the majority. Can we be honest right now? The mentality that we have, that we understand that the voting system overall is corrupt. We're not the majority. We're not the majority of the black community. The majority of the black community is going to the polls. Definitely going to the polls. And will vote on the Democratic side because guess what? I'm afraid. So I asked people this. I said, why are you voting for Kamala? I'm voting because I don't want Trump in office. That's not a reason to vote for her. I'm voting because he created Project 2025. No, he didn't. That was the Heritage Foundation. Heritage Foundation was the one that created the document for 2025. We fall for the propaganda every single time. He has his own thing. I think it's called Agenda or something, whatever it is. But Project 2025, they fearmonger black people to say, oh, Trump is creating Project 2025 and black people ain't going to be able to have access. He's going to make it a police state. It's already a police state for us. What are you talking about? He's doing this and black people just like, oh, we got to keep him out. And you sitting here saying, people, he didn't write Project 2025. The Heritage Foundation did. Heritage Foundation is nothing but a Republican think tank. That's all it is. But we're so programmed to listen to CNN, MSNBC, even Fox News, that we don't go do our own due diligence ourselves and our own research. We're afraid to go do that research. Or not necessarily afraid, we're just taking their word for it. So Democrats say, I'm going to scare the hell out of you. Excuse my language. That's the only thing I can use. I'm going to scare the hell out of you and say the Republicans are going to take you back to Jim Crow. Guess what happens? Oh my goodness. Let me hurry up and go. All right. Oh my goodness. Let me hurry up and get over here and vote for this Democrat. And guess what happens? You vote a bigger fool than you would if he was a Republican. At least I know what Trump is about. We're not voting. Yes, I know we're not voting, Saints. But we are not the majority. Hold on. Okay. So yeah, I'm back. But we vote out of desperation. So the problem is that trick bag doesn't work anymore. That don't work anymore. You can't fear the majority anymore. You can't fear it anymore. We asking questions that they're not used to having to respond to. We're not. And it's put us in it put them in my mom and I'm closing down the house. So give me a second. So I'm gonna be whispering because I don't want to be too loud. Hold on. So but that's the game. That's the game. But now since that doesn't work, and now black people are asking questions. Black people are now a little bit more aware. I'm gonna play this person for y'all. Have y'all ever heard of Michaela Montgomery? Have y'all ever heard of Michaela Montgomery? I'm gonna play this young lady first. She says something, and this is their nightmare. And this is building on to another piece of this conversation. We're gonna go right back to the migrant conversation, but I need to build the big picture to get y'all to see what's really the deal. What's really the deal? So let me see. Did it come through? Let me see. Oh, here it is. Now, this isn't Michaela Montgomery. It is definitely not past my bedtime or whatever. Um, but this isn't Michaela, but this is another individual I came across, and fair use. Let me keep saying fair use. I came across her TikTok, and she makes some great points, and she made a point that I already knew. She was a person, somebody I listened to. She talked about Project 2025. Everybody's running scared. And when she said, I said, yep, she's right. Project 2025 is not a Trump document. This is a document that was created by the Heritage Foundation. But again, let's scare the hell out of Black people to make them go to the polls and vote for vote on a Democratic ticket. Let's say that Trump is going to bring about slavery. Let's say that Trump is going to do this. And Trump probably ain't doing none of that. People don't even want to talk about the platinum plan that he came up with in that he was going to implement his next term. They don't want to talk about that. The platinum plan is pretty good for those, again, understand, Israel. Our mindset, we're not the mindset of the majority. The majority ain't thinking like us. The majority ain't thinking that both sides are dangerous. But let me do this. And I'm gonna drop the link in just a second, and I'm gonna let some people come up who want to come up. But I will say this: don't get up here and talk 45 minutes.
On this app and embarrass y'all. Lord, I don't know why y'all elders get on this app and embarrass yourselves, but I'm about to teach you a grave lesson. And I'm going to do it real classy, like, because I respect my elders. Let me read this first. She has a plan and a policy. No, she doesn't, ma'am. We've went to her website several
Talk about
times.
Kamala.
The only thing she's asking for you to do is donate to her campaign. The only policy that she has come out with has been the one that she has stolen from other politicians, one being the one that she's running against. Her father is Black. Did you not see that? No, her father is not Black. Okay. Her father is Jamaican and Irish. And if you knew better, you would know that being Jamaican does not automatically make you Black. There are Indian Jamaicans. There are also Chinese Jamaicans, okay? Her father was about as Black as a polar bear, okay? And his ancestors actually owned slaves. Let's go to the next bullshit that you got typed right here. She's not the president of Black people, but all people. She's not the president of anything, okay? Because she's the vice president running to be the president, and she did a piss poor job at being a vice president. We've already pointed that out. We can already look at Chicago, New York, LA, Colorado, and many other places in this country that shows that she did a piss poor job at being a vice president because she was supposed to make sure that the border was safe. And she didn't even do that. She's not even doing a good job running for president. She hasn't even been able to sit down and even have a single conversation with the same women and the same men who want us to get on this app and make it seem as if she's just that motherfucker to vote for. She ain't even sat down with y'all yet. She sat down with a whole table of white women, but she wouldn't even sit down with you all. In fact, she went to the blackest city in the country and made a complete fool of you, your granddaughters, if you have any, your daughter, if you have any, and every other Black woman around here, because the shit that she pulled, the whole world was watching. So instead of her going up there campaigning, she went up there and had a whole twerk fest and didn't talk about absolutely nothing.
You see, appease ninjas. Ooh, I don't know, watch what I say. Appease us to appease us, but not talk to us. I'm gonna go twerk with you and hang out with you and laugh with you and talk about collard greens and hot sauce in my purse and putting hot sauce on my pork chops, all that. but don't talk about the Black agenda, what is needed. DNC convention, all in Black faces. Not once did she say for the Black community. And people are like, well, she can't do that. Yes, she can. She do it for every other community. Everybody has representation, but us. So I'm gonna keep playing.
Let's go to the next line. Yes, there are plenty of Black-owned schools in the U.S. There are Black colleges, but they're not owned by Black people. You should also look that up. Read, ma'am, please read. No, you need to read. In fact, you need to read something other than whatever CNN is telling you to read. Because you know what? I went to your page and I could tell that you have a family, you have a husband, you have grandchildren. And that's a beautiful thing. I can also see that you're a woman of God. Your Bible was not saving you because everything that this party stands for is against everything that's in that Bible. So how could you call yourself a woman of God when you're following a godless party? You telling me to read, but you don't even know that the same party you voting for is the one that started the KKK. You telling me to read, but you probably don't even know that that woman stood in front of the same group of people in the White House that stole money from our ancestors when they had it in that Freedmen's Bank, only for her to divvy it up and give the biggest and largest amount to everybody but Black people. You telling me I need to read? No, ma'am, you need to wake up. You too old to be on this app being stupid. And I mean that respectfully. If you don't know something, don't talk about stuff you don't know nothing about. Because even though you're my elder, I will run circles around you when it comes to this politics shit. You old Black elders, y'all like to get on here and y'all like to rile up shit when y'all have literally been voting blindly probably y'all whole lives. You're not doing that no more. It's played out. Find something else to do. In fact, find somebody else to play with. Go play with your grandkids. Don't play with me. Have a good night.
I'm playing all this to build to the reason why our votes, why we're being replaced. The reason why they need the migrants, why they're trying to replace us and push us out, because we're no longer voting blindly. I did mod you. You want to be modded on my other channel? Come over to Sister E channel, Doug. Are you modded in the Sister E or are you in the back room? Tell me which one you in, Doug, because I can't see. But we're no longer voting blindly. No longer are we blow. So guess what? You're a threat now because you single-handedly could impact the vote for the Democrats. Quick, leave back room and come over to the Sister E channel because you're gonna make me stop and lose my train of thought. But when I tell y'all, I wasn't. I'm gonna play another one. So thank you. Come to the main room. I saw this morning and it kind of stayed with me, and I've been kind of listening to a lot of Michaela stuff. I've been listening to a lot of her stuff.
Offended by everything except the conditions and
I can't see the thing now.
A lot of critics said that hurt him with Black voters. What was your reaction?
I don't know why it would hurt him with Black voters because it seems like Black voters are offended by everything except the conditions in which their reality is.
Facts.
So while we might be offended that a rich white man is questioning the nationality of a quote unquote Black woman, that Black woman does not claim to be Black outside of campaign season. So we saw her be Black as she was vying to be VP. The hot sauce on the pork chops, the marching with the band, all of a sudden she's paying attention to her AKA sorority sisters. But then once sworn in office, you didn't see the acknowledgement of her sorority or her HBCU. She didn't wear pink.
Thank you,
She didn't wear
Chris,
green.
for
She
your
didn't
super
wear
chat.
anything HU. She also did not acknowledge the Black community while in office. We saw bills signed for Asians. We saw bills passed for migrants, which primarily affect the Hispanic community. We saw bills passed for literally everyone but Black people. So for her, additionally, last thing, after she took that oath of office, she went on record to say that she was the first South Asian vice president. At no point in time did she promote her Blackness. At no point in time does she acknowledge her Blackness. At no point in time does she market herself as a Black woman. And that was when she was Attorney General. That's back when she was DA. That's all the way until she was senator. And of course, as vice president. So the fact that, again, she's using this Black card during the election season just so Black people will turn out to vote for her. And then she will, if she were to win, she would be in office and then fail those same Black people who did everything in their power to get her in. I think that's disgusting. I think that's unfair. And I think that that's why I personally reached out to the Trump campaign and asked if I could speak, because I'm like, you guys might be offended when he says it, but what are you going to do when I say it? Because at the end of the day, I am a Black woman. I've lived a Black life, and therefore I pay attention to politics. So I was actually excited for her when she ran for president the first time. Just the fact that she was in the race, I was like,
Thank you,
okay,
Angela, for your
HBCUs,
super
do your
chat,
thing.
$20.
But she never acknowledged
Chris
said
Reed, thank you for
HBCUs. In
your
the first
super
100
chat.
days of the
$20.
administration, they cut funding to HBCUs. She did nothing to support the very people that she's now leaning on to win this election. And I wish that those same people would understand that if they were to support her in this election and she does win, we will see nothing but a repeat of the last administration in which Black people, the same people that everybody touts when it's time to get elected, will also be the ones that are the first to be forgotten about once they're sworn in.
A lot of critics said that
Black votes. You hear Black votes, Black votes. Chris Reed says that both parties do not need the Black vote. They won't in the future need it. But right now they need it. If you look at history, a Black vote can swing a whole debate. A whole presidential election. This is why you see them campaign so hard. This is why the DNC is have Meg Stallion up there twerking and being inappropriate, thinking that appeases Black people, so we can come and vote. They give us a show so we don't ask no questions, and that's so sad. That's so sad. So let me play one more. Like I said, I've been watching some of Michaela's stuff, and you can't. I don't care what nobody say, wrong, right, or different. Y'all might not like her. Y'all might not. Some people may not like her. I mean, she's telling the truth, but the other side is bad, is jacked up as heck too. So,
Democrat who call her a sellout. Michaela Montgomery destroying a Democrat who call her a sellout. Let's get into it.
there
That
he
you
is.
knew Candace Owens. Because she's pretty much been outcasted by the right because of her stances on Israel. But anyway, you will have a good job at Fox News at some point. I guarantee you that. And the things you point out on the Democrats, their failures, you're absolutely right on some of the things. The Democrats fall short, but at least we try. The Republican policies are just the complete opposite. Okay, last thing I want to say, they're never going to let you in the club. Okay, and you like the movie Django, you are the character of Samuel L. Jackson. I don't know the exact terminology, but not Uncle Tom, but Uncle Tommy, or you were a complete sellout.
All right, and we'll go to Robert in.
Oh, I can't respond to that?
Oh, yes, you can.
Thank you very much. Because first of all, it sounded like that was a non-Black person telling me that. So as a Democrat, that sounds pretty racial and pretty divisive. Next, it's very interesting that I, again, would be called names or be compared to fictional characters because of who I choose to support. Again, these people who are calling and making these derogatory statements about me, who I choose to support, are denying the fact that, again, who are you to tell me that my personal experience is invalid? I think that that's something that a lot of Democrats need to look within, because how have you tried? Kamala Harris is in office right now and has not tried to do anything about the border, has not tried to not tax people on tips, and has not tried to do anything about our failing education system. So everything that she's promising she can do for you on day one, she could do right now, but she's not trying to. So that's something to, for some Dems to take home.
Now the world could see how the Democrats approach Black people having a mind of their own. The Democrats have these racist rhetorics that they always say keep Black people in line with the Democratic Party. And whenever someone have a different mind of their own or wants to try something else, they're labeled as sellouts by white Democrats, by black Democrats. Now you see why they're talking about the slave plantation. Let me know what you guys think.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So, black people talking like this, from your Dr. Umars to your Michaela Montgomerys to your what's his name, the Charleston guy. People say he crazy. That's fine, but all of these people saying the same thing, and now that those questions are being asked and the things that we're saying, like, wait, hold on, you want us at the conventions, but you don't want us in the room talking to you about what are you going to do for the black community. You want us on the stage shaking our butts and doing all types of stuff and throwing up our sorority or fraternity signet signs and playing the drums and dancing. That's fine at the convention, but the minute we say we need to sit down and have a conversation about the black community, then it goes to deaf ears. Oh, and the crazy thing is, black voters are telling us, well, no, you need to vote that black woman in. We'll talk about that type of stuff later. For real? This how we supposed to do it? This is definitely how y'all want us to do it. Y'all want us to sit quiet and just let it be. But because we're asking these questions, it will become a problem. So now all of a sudden, 500,000 immigrants will be able to get citizenship in the U.S. That's 500,000 votes. That's possibly the same amount of votes that have walked away from the Democratic Party and moved over to the Republican Party. Then you're creating next generation Democrats. Then next generation Democrats. And what happens is you change the demographic of an entire voting population, because the original voting population, they have been ride or die for the longest, are no longer with you because we're sick of it. So guess what? I played that one report to let you see. They talk about 500,000 migrants coming over here. Well, now they're already over here. They said they've been here for 10 years, which they can fudge the numbers. I don't trust nothing that they say. Thank you. They ain't gonna tell you the whole truth. They're gonna say 500,000. Before you know it, that 500,000 will be a million, 2 million, 10 million. But see, what's happening is it's starting to backfire on them. You opening the door, and I really believe they're using these gangs to strong arm the black community. They're not gonna fight with Pookie. I hate to say it like that, but they're gonna send a Venezuelan gang to come in and fight with them. If we were to have mass chaos and black people were to rise up and say enough is enough, I really believe they would use the Venezuelan gangs to come at us. I really believe that. This is what I think. I'm sitting here, I'm saying, because God forbid what happened in the UK happens in the US. Oh, don't let what's happening in the UK happen in the US, because we're a different breed. And black people in the US saying, I wish you would do that to us. Well, yeah, they're going to do it. And guess what? We're going to use those Venezuelan gangs to come at y'all so they can shut your mouth. No different than the Italian gangs. They always use that. They always use that. Yep, we ain't going. Yeah, that's what they want, though. They want all, because think about it. If all of us war, and we're collateral damage. If there was a war, civil war to break out, these elites that's on stage, that's saying, Oprah on stage saying, and all of them on stage saying, these are millionaires. We need to fight against the Republicans are millionaires that don't understand the plight of the people. Wait a minute, y'all are millionaires. So what do we need to talk to you about? Yep. So this isn't a game. This isn't a game. It's an agenda that's being played out before our eyes. I really believe it, y'all. I promise y'all I believe it. I'm sitting and I'm watching this and I'm sitting here saying, the writing is on the wall. So ask yourself this question. Why is there 500,000? Why are so many migrants coming over here? Haiti had a boat full and they were ready to send them back home quickly. Y'all remember when them Haitian migrants came over here on that boat? Baby, they turned that boat around so quick and sent them Haitians right back because they said they're going to bring drugs. They're going to bring disease. They're going to bring this. But these Venezuelan gangs coming over, they look a little close to us. So, yeah, we can tolerate them. We can tolerate them. Them Haitians didn't stand a chance, baby. Oh, they didn't stand a chance. Y'all remember that when they came in on that boat? Baby, but the thing is, it's going to backfire. Because these gangs that y'all brought over here, they ain't just terrorizing our neighborhoods. I heard Clinton Hill is, I think, a fairly nice, and Eric, tell me if I'm right or wrong. Clinton Hill is a fairly nice area in Brooklyn. I'm thinking. I've been to Clinton Hill before. Clinton Hill had a shooting. Migrants shooting and killed, I think, 2 people and injured 1. These gentrified neighborhoods in Brooklyn, these nice gentrified neighborhoods in Brooklyn, migrants going over there wreaking havoc. And they can't do anything about it. They can't do anything about it. And what's going to happen is you let them come over here, it's going to get worse. And it's going to get worse. And it's going to filter into your neighborhoods. See, they don't understand the demographic between black and white. They understand green money. So I'm going to go from this neighborhood. Well, we're going to go over here and mess with this neighborhood. Scared to terrorize these people over here, these gentrifiers that live in Bed-Stuy, the gentrifiers that live in Cobble Hill, the gentrifiers that live in Fort Greene. We're gonna terrorize them. And that's what they're doing right now. And it's backfiring. I'll show y'all another video. Hold on. Hold on, I'm trying to get this video and send it over. Okay, I'm waiting for the video to go over. Yep, they definitely gonna go where the money is. Yep, they got Bushwick locked down. If y'all go into these neighborhoods and that's where they're wreaking. I have not heard of them going into the projects as much in Brooklyn. I'm hearing them going to Park Slope, Prospect Park, Bushwick, Bed-Stuy, Clinton Hill, Fort downtown Brooklyn. They going for the money. They don't care nothing about you. They going for the money. And they're wreaking havoc in those neighborhoods. I ain't heard nothing. I know some. I've been around or, drove around Brooklyn and seen the areas that are more of the project. I haven't seen any problems over there with them. I've seen the problems in the nice neighborhoods. So I'm going to play something real quick. Where is my video? Oh, jeez. Man, they're going to march right up into Wall Street and say, give me your goodies. Them folks don't care nothing about who is who and what is what and gentrified and stay out of this neighborhood. And they going for show me the money. That's what they want. It just made me think about that. I haven't heard anything about Manhattan. I've mostly been hearing about Brooklyn. Hold on. Not to say they ain't terrorizing, but that ain't been the talk. Hold on. You want to go outside? Hold on. I'm going to play this video, y'all. Okay, let me let Rio outside. Hold on. I'm back, y'all. False alarm. He ain't got to go outside. He doing the most. Hold on.
Grappling with two shootings in Clinton Hill Sunday has residents in the neighborhood grappling with the violence that left 3 people dead and 2 others fighting for their lives. Police are now seeking the public's help in finding this man believed to be responsible for both incidents that happened outside a migrant shelter on Ryerson Street. One of those victims, just 21 years old, lived at that shelter, according to police. Those shootings now prompting community calls for action.
We're here because we love this place and we don't want to see it go down, but we have to rebuild it again.
Neighbors say 2 migrant shelters in the neighborhood, which have brought an influx of more than 3,000 asylum seekers living at the sites, are overwhelming the neighborhood. Residents rallied Tuesday, expressing fears for their safety after Sunday's shootings, as well as a stabbing outside the shelter on Hall Street back in June.
Too big to be safe. I walk down my street and my neighbors look traumatized. They're afraid. The kids don't want to go to the park. The kids look at me. They heard about the shootings and they're asking me about it. I don't know what to tell them. I can't keep them safe.
Despite their grievances, residents are not demanding the shelter's closure, but are urging the city to alleviate the burden by reducing the number of migrants housed there and spreading them across other neighborhoods.
This isn't about not wanting it in my backyard. This is about wanting a manageable, safe shelter in my backyard.
Mayor Eric Adams responding to residents' demands in a press briefing Tuesday, saying the city is simply out of options.
When they say move the shelter, my question to them is where? Which community should I move it in? Those who are already oversaturated? Or should we all share the burden of this? No one wants this.
We reached out to the city's Department of Homeless Services inquiring about whether emergency migrant shelters have capacity limits with so many people living at the 2 migrant shelters in this neighborhood. At this hour, we're still waiting to hear back.
Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? That's interesting. They're in a state of panic right now. Rightfully so, though. I'm concerned. You know, I'm talking to my daughter about getting around the neighborhood, making sure that we kind of have a good buddy system. You know, walking around just haphazardly to the store by ourselves. Just always making sure that we are together, because it's not safe. It's not safe. So, play one more video. I'm gonna play another video for y'all. How? Okay, it says how this migrant situation exploded in the NYC. I think NYC is the most impacted by this. Chicago pissed off too. Chicago thoroughly pissed off. And see, the problem with what's going on with the migrant situation in New York as well, these migrants are watching these tourists. They going to Times Square and robbing these people in Times Square. Most people that are in Times Square in New York Been living there for almost over 2 years now. That's where the tourists are. I don't go to Times Square. Everything is overpriced. Heck, New York is already expensive. You want things to be 2 times higher? Go to Times Square. I don't do nothing in Times Square. In fact, I stay away from that area. But the migrants know Times Square is where you're going to come across the individual that may not be paying attention totally to their surroundings. They're going to be so involved with the lights and the scenery that they're not going to pay attention to what's in front of them. What I've learned with most New Yorkers, they focus. They get trying to get to the point A to point Z. They looking around. They scan in the area. So they gonna watch their surroundings. So
Migration into the US is one of the most divisive issues the country faces today and will be one of the main points which will decide the election on November the 5th. Today, we're going to discuss the unprecedented number of people coming into the country and the impact it is having on American cities and people. The New York Post has been on the front lines of reporting on what has become an urgent crisis. Our stories have uncovered secret flights bringing migrants into New York, the enormous cost of running shelters and the conditions inside of them, and the exasperation of city leaders as the people just keep coming. Nationally, we've covered in detail the problems Border Patrol face in trying to stop illegal crossings at the southern border and how little time they have to make decisions about whether people are who they say they are. We've also captured on camera what happens when things do spiral out of control. Firstly, to provide some contexts, between 2009 and 2018, immigration levels in the US were low. After a spike in 2019 and during the COVID-19 crisis, which started in 2020, the Trump administration took action and largely closed the southern border, where more than 90% of new migrants enter the US. Under the Biden administration, there has been an explosion of people, first from Central and Southern America, and then from countries all around the world seeking refuge in the US. Figures from Customs and Border Protection show over 9 million people have been encountered by border agents since Joe Biden took office. This is way beyond the number of people Border Patrol have the capacity to handle. Some of the nation's biggest cities, including New York, Chicago, Houston, San Diego, and Denver, have struggled to cope with the huge influx who have arrived needing food, shelter, medical attention, and other services. And the problem isn't going away. Millions of people are waiting in the country for years as their asylum claims play out through the courts. But before we get to that, let's have a look at the origins of the crisis. To discuss this, I'm joined by New York-based reporter Kevin Sheehan, who has been on the beat in the city, which has been the #1 destination for newly arrived migrants since the crisis began, and the Post Texas reporter and border specialist, Jenny Tare. I recall from your reporting one particular incident which was spotted at the Texas border, whereby you saw some migrants trying to rush into the US by force. Can you describe that scene for me and how it was?
Yeah, I mean, that was a really unexpected situation. It's something that from covering the border, you think could be a possibility.
did y'all see that spike of numbers? And that spike happened during the Biden administration. That number surpassed any number that we saw on that chart. And it spiked even more in 2023. And ask yourself why. Ask yourself why. The Obama administration didn't have that much. Trump definitely wasn't playing no games with them. But Biden's administration let them clean in. And guess who was the border or immigration czar? No other than Miss Kamala Harris. Biden trying to figure out what his name is. He don't know his left from his right. But she in the back, she's the czar, meaning she owns the ins and outs of the process of border control. And look where we are now. You have a migrant situation that right now, I'm going to be honest, I think they realize that it's out of control. They can't control it right now. Millions of migrants, millions are over here. But what's so interesting is it's not just Latino or Hispanic or migrants that are Hispanic. They're finding out that the Africans are coming through, the Indians are coming through the same direction. The ones the Arab nations, some people from Palestine, those different countries like that, the Middle Eastern nations are coming through the same route because that's a weak border. Texas said they was creating their own wall. And they were getting ready to go to war with the governor of Texas because he said, I'm done. I'm done. He got real quiet. I don't know what they did to him. I ain't heard nothing else about that. Because the thing is, what is the motive? What is the motive? Play a little bit more.
And sources always tell you, what if I'm the only Border Patrol agent out there and they all rush me? That's something that is the worst fear among our law enforcement down there. This happened, in March, and a group of migrants had been organized by Texas soldiers who were down there under state orders by Governor Abbott. They were being organized in El Paso after crossing from Juarez, Mexico. And there were about 600 migrants. Now, they were organized into two different groups. It was women and children and families, and then single adult males. So the soldiers down there were trying to keep them in orderly lines to remove some of the single adult males back to Mexico.
Oh, yeah, we're not going to talk about, is it 30,000 children from that area, South America, that have come up missing? They can't find none of them. How you lose a pack of 30-some-odd thousand children? That's interesting.
And to leave the rest for Border Patrol. This was in front of a gate, so they knew that Border Patrol was going to come eventually, open the gate, and then process them and probably release them into the country. So when these migrants started to peel off and realize they were going back to Mexico and their fate was not what they had wanted, they became very disorderly, but it happened so quickly, you couldn't really expect that they would just basically rush the border wall there. They would create so much chaos that you had soldiers who were injured. You had a soldier they were trying to take his gun, a soldier whose knee was stomped. And it just happened within seconds. It really did. And they were really able to, these migrants, overpower the soldiers down there. I mean, it was 600 versus just a few, maybe, a couple handfuls of them were there. And it was very, very scary to watch because you just...
No matter who you are, there are times it can be tough to be yourself when you have severe asthma.
Y'all see how they railroaded him? Railroaded them. They couldn't hold him back. Now, I know, well, y'all got guns. They and bullets y'all with y'all own with guns in hand. I ain't saying they gonna do nothing, but y'all shoot a ninja for breathing too hard. If we breathe too hard, it'll be 12 police officers shooting one ninja. One. But you faced with that, it makes you wonder. They gun happy all the time. Now all of a sudden, interesting. Y'all caught that? I said, y'all got guns and they bullying the crap out of y'all. Ooh. So I'm gonna drop this link, y'all, and I'm inviting people up. Have some act right. No over talking. No over talking. Let me go to anybody that's in my back room. Please come over to the main channel. I'm gonna post it there because I may have to. I might be able to. I don't know if I can do that on my back channel. Let me go in here and let me pin it, and then we can go from there. That's the main thing I wanted y'all to see, though. Hold on, let me pin this. Why is it I can't pin it? Okay, pin it. It's pinned. So anybody that wants to come up, you're welcome. But like I said, don't get on my nerves. I kick you out quickly. But again, I knew. What's going on, Hot Sauce?
Hey, how are you? How's
I'm
everything?
good. Everything's good. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, before I begin my commentary, I'm going to send you a link in the back chat. If you, in your spare time, have a chance, please look at this timestamp, and give your commentary. That'd be really awesome.
Okay.
At a later date. Yeah, if you could just have a look at that later date. But everything is good.
Okay.
Yes. I'm sorry. Hello. Hello.
All right, I'm back. I'm back. All right. Hot sauce, come back up here. You're welcome to come back up. Oh, y'all, I'm sorry. Where's hot sauce? Tell him to come back. I'm back. All right. It wasn't YouTube, it was me. My laptop died. I'm gonna put the link back out there. Give me a 1 if y'all can hear me. Give me a 1 if y'all can hear me. Give me a 1. Hopefully hot sauce comes back up here. Oh, it was getting good too. All right, good. Y'all can hear me. Somebody go find hot sauce and tell him to come on back. My laptop died right when he was getting ready to talk. I think the link is still pinned. Let me check and make sure. Yep, it's still pinned. Yep. All right. Hopefully he comes back. All right, I'm back on the scene. All right, we can get back started. So, it's just interesting. I'm waiting on him to come back if he's coming back. If anybody else want to join me, they can. Anybody else want to provide their viewpoint with this whole migrant situation? The floor is open for any of the saints that want to come up. This is a good live. I've enjoyed it so far. Have y'all enjoyed this so far other than me getting disconnected? Have y'all enjoyed it so far? Call you Cobra? You want me to call you Cobra? Hold on. Come on, hot sauce. You ready?
Yeah, sorry about that. I thought I was cut off or something. So then I rebooted and then you were gone.
Yeah, that was me. My laptop was on E and I ignored it when it first popped up because I kept getting involved in the conversation. But come on, stay. What was you getting ready to say before I got shut off?
Oh yeah, at first I said I sent the link to the back. I'll send it again. If you have a chance, please have a look at it. I think it's extremely important. It's not about this subject, so I won't say anything about it. But I sent you the thing and the timestamp. Please have a look because I'm curious about your understanding about it.
Okay.
Now about the migrant crisis. From a prophecy standpoint, I think this is what's going to push everybody to go back to their own lands, because in the scripture it talks about how everyone during the last days are going to go back to their own land, and I think from a spiritual standpoint, this is what they're being used to, or this is what the Most High is using them for. From a physical political standpoint, the Democrats are trying to scound, immigrants are actually trying to replace black people, right? They're getting all the public assistance, they're taking away black jobs, they're pushing the middle class, black middle class out of their neighborhoods, because if you they can't go to Southside Chicago, North Philly, or Queens because they're gonna get shot, right? But they can push out the black middle class neighborhoods. They can push out the working class black neighborhoods. And so for this, these are the reasons why they're coming here, right? To replace us. Which is fine, because I mean, this is not our land anyway. Um I'm not going to vote either way because neither one of them are from my tribe. So, that's against the law. So it's fine. But at the end of the day, they are using these people to take away black jobs, to push the black middle class and the working class out of their neighborhoods, and most importantly, to replace the vote.
Yep. And that's it. The vote is the main catalyst that's pushing this agenda. That's the main point. The black vote, people don't realize how much power lies in that black vote. The black vote can swing an entire election all the way to the left or all the way to the right, and they know that, and it concerns them. You can no longer
Well,
beat us with the foolishness of uh, showing me that you're a black woman that went to Howard. You can't tell me your story of you cooking greens in your bathtub. That's not a black thing. We don't cook our greens in the bathtub first. I mean, our cookbook, wash our greens in the
yeah.
bathtub. So,
Well,
what were you gonna say?
see, the funny thing is, if she would have never claimed herself to be black, I don't think she would not have this problem today. She came to black people talking about she's going to be the first black female president, or she's the first black female vice president. She came to us with that. If she would have just repped her Asian side, right? Because I mean, she gave what, 24, 26 billion dollars to the Asian, to some Asian group, Southeast Pacific Asian. She came to black people claiming to be black. We never demanded her to say, "Oh, for us to vote for you, you must claim that you're black." Well, who was the black person that said that? And
Yep.
that's why she's in this trouble, because she came with that.
Yep. Trying to connect with the black community. I don't have a problem with somebody who has some black ancestry leaning towards their black side, but this is what you call this, and he's saying it right here. Woman is an opportunist. She is. She jumped on the bandwagon of the black vote and said, I can win an election with the black vote.
Mhm.
I can. Black
Yeah,
vote
but
is powerful. But hey,
she could have. But I mean, can't you win with the black vote? Be like, yo, I was raised Asian. My mom's Asian, but I do have a Caribbean side, so I can relate to you on some stuff. I'm not black, but hey, understand what it like to be people, because people of color and all that. That's what they say nowadays, right? People of color, right? She didn't need to. She didn't need to go this far, right? I mean, she's cosplaying like Rachel Dolezal, you
yep,
know, just like I mean, let me put on my black face real quick and put some hot sauce on pork chops, and while I'm having black men with no fire training take them out of their prisons and go help them fight forest fires in California.
yep, yep. It's just an interesting time. And what I hate is the older community, I think unbeknownst without any knowledge or understanding in some cases, I want to say baby boomers and older generation X lean towards the normative without even in some cases really doing the research. And that's where we are right now. Everybody's voting Democrat. Why? Now, what I did notice that she's using in her election that I didn't see in other elections, she's driving female votes. You see a lot of women. You saw a lot of women at that convention. You see a lot of women in that convention. And
Yeah, but that's smart. That's smart for her. That's smart for her to do, right?
It is very smart. It is very smart because from a numbers perspective, I'm gonna be honest, it's more women than it is men.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna lean
Yeah.
towards the black female vote because the black
Mhm.
female vote, just like the church leaned towards the black female members because
Mhm.
they give the money.
Mhm.
They're gonna give the votes. Everything I was looking, I said, there's a lot of women at this DNC convention.
Mhm.
It was a lot of women. Yep.
She's going to win, because we have to remember, when we talk about presidency, we're also talking about foreign policy. And if you're looking at heads of states around the world, America, which is supposed to be like the bastion of progressiveness, is falling behind. Uh, Germany, Mexico, Tanzania. There's so many heads of state that are female at the moment, right? And America is supposed to be leading the way of democracy, freedom, and all this other stuff. So America has to have a female president. It most likely will be her If not, it has to be the next one, because they have to push this progressiveness. And so therefore, you know what I mean, she's going to likely to win, because you have to push progressivism, and America is behind. We
They
talk
are.
about foreign policy, right? And she's Obama black. She's not real black. She's Obama black. And so therefore, she's one of us that just happens to look black. One of us meaning white society.
Yep.
And 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 it's crazy because India has a caste system, right? So, and
Oh yes.
they right. So you're not only are you picking quote unquote white supremacists, you're picking one of the founders of supremacy, because they have caste system out there, and
Yeah.
they're not even ashamed about it. And the darker you look,
Yes.
they call over there, you're untouchable.
Yep.
So what do you think a woman whose culture is where black people look like untouchable? What do you think she gonna do for you? But for women, right?
Mhm.
Women is all about looks, right? Well, I'll take that back. For a lot of women, it's just about hey, we're going to make history. First black president, female president. That matters more than everything else. Hello? Sister E, are you there? Are you muted if you're talking?
I'm sorry, I'm muted. Hold on one
Okay.
second. I was letting somebody out. Keep talking, hot sauce.
Okay. Yeah. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, so we're picking a woman whose culture has a caste system, and where we would in that caste system would be considered untouchable. So that's crazy to even think that we would even entertain this, right? That we would entertain someone that's running who comes from a culture where we're untouchable.
Yep. Yep. But I mean, some of the most racism that I've experienced since I've been in corporate America has been one from the Hispanic community and the Indian community.
Yeah, Indians. Yeah, Indians about that life.
Yeah,
Indians
they
about that life. Because my brother's the same. Yeah, I like white people. They'll manage it a little bit, but especially the Cubans, where they bleed. Because you know, like in like the Puerto Ricans and the Cubans, they bleach their skin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that. It's like I think it's the second market after Ghana. Ghana and Nigeria is so this is like the Puerto Rico, Cuban, that area. I don't want to say the Caribbean, but the Latin part of the Caribbean, that's the second largest hotspot for skin bleaching, and India too, right? And India too, because they don't want to be considered untouchable,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so when Carmela's like, "Well, I can't do anything for Black people," I mean that goes against her
I just went to the
sensibility.
store. I'm watching. I said, "She hold on one second."
Yeah, Sammy Sosa, man. Sammy Sosa bleached this stuff too.
Oh yeah. Okay. Here come Doug too. But I mean,
Oh Jesus.
don't y'all are gonna act right. Y'all are so funny. Yeah, Sammy Sosa did mess his skin up. I remember seeing that. But I mean, it's just gonna be interesting. I kid you not, hot sauce. I know you're not in the States anymore right now, but it's
No,
gonna be.
I'm yeah, I'm out.
I got a feeling this finna get They finna turn this country every which way but loose once this presidential election is over with. And I really believe at one time I was kind of like, well, maybe Trump will win. Now I got a feeling Kamala finna win this one. They finna make sure she.
I think it's gonna be the Do you remember Al Gore? Al Gore Bush, where Al Gore won where he won the popular vote, but he lost the electorate, and they gave it to Bush.
Yep.
I think that's what we're gonna see.
Yep, but they're not gonna get the reaction that they got with the Gore and Bush. They're gonna see a whole nother reaction that they're not gonna be prepared for. That's why I think they pulled up these Venezuelan gangs, because they would use the Venezuelan gangs as their army against their own citizens.
But see, the only problem, like the UK and America are different because like Billy Bob got 50 cows on his truck, and they got militias. They got militias and just dudes just in the woods right now, just shooting and shooting and shooting. I don't yeah, they ain't ready for that. They ain't ready for Billy Bob in West Virginia. They ain't ready for that. Right? And for us, we started gangs to protect ourselves against the Polish and the Italians, right?
Yep.
So,
Yep.
at the end of the day, North Philly, Chicago, we've been shooting so much, we ready too. They ain't ready for that.
They really not. They really not.
Right? And Billy Bob got missiles, so they ain't ready for Billy Bob.
Oh yeah. What's going on, Doug?
How we doing, folks? How you doing? I'm doing good. I've been kind of in and out, listening here and there, and got to agree there with hot sauce. Everybody talks about. I've got a few friends listen to the show, and they are, they're armed and they're ready and they're ready to do this and that, and I have to stop them in their tracks to remind them that it's Esau's one been given a sword. And if you're talking about mayhem and murder and killing, you're going to have to go to school for a few more years and get your doctorate in order to get in line with how these folks can put people down. So I wouldn't want to get into a fracas with them. I try to sidestep them. It's obvious that the immigrants here, and back to the subject, are put here as a buffer between the conscience of the typical European man or woman and the Negroes that continually remind them of the debt they owe. And the replacement is going to be subtle. And they're going to let them immigrants do what they want to our people. They're going to put them right up to our neighborhoods as close as they can get them. They're going to let all the predators and all the folks that have, just lay waste to our community with very little consequence, I can imagine. And once that's done, they're going to start handing them badges. They're going to give them authority. And it's going to get pretty interesting as this replacement goes. I've seen us in concentration camps. I've seen us in those FEMA camps. I've seen the liberation. And I mean, so that means the experience of being there was also expressed. So I don't know. There's some that pay strict attention to what they're doing. I just kind of look casually, make sure I'm out of the line of fire, and I encourage my brothers and sisters to do the same thing. That's about it. There it is.
Yep. What are your thoughts, hot sauce?
Agree with them that about the badge thing because there's an FBI report out right now that says that that white supremacy has infiltrated the sheriff and the police system. And like I said earlier, right, when it comes to the working black class and the middle class, we're going to get pushed out. We're definitely getting pushed out. We're definitely going to be replaced there. Are they going to go to Southside Chicago or Detroit or Philly, where high crime area in it? No. but they don't need to be there, right? They need to be where the they don't need to be there. So again, it's just the point of how we can push the black vote out, the black power, the black economics out as well, right? Because there's a study that what 2050 blacks in America, uh, total net worth will be zero. So yeah, so I mean these are the different strategies that are being put in place so those goals can be achieved.
Mm-hmm.
And what's most important is they're not going to stop with their efforts. Since we arrived, they've maintained us at a specific level. And the first thing that they did was make sure we didn't know how to read or educate ourselves or permit others to educate us. That was, I think, the biggest hamstring move they made on our community. That that ignorance that they maintain. And in my estimation, this planning has been long in the making. I think they anticipated that slavery would end in America, and I think I think all of the things that are being done to extend their time in power. And
Mm-hmm.
at this point, they've included the immigrants. And you know, these MS-13 gangs, let me tell you something, they didn't get all them dudes. They didn't lock all them dudes up. Them dudes are flooding up. And I understand in one of our communities, they took over an entire apartment complex. Anybody read about that?
Oh wow.
Yeah, the MS-13, the gangs moved into the neighborhoods, where brothers and sisters, where Negroes are, and to the point that their criminal behavior, that third world, more unrefined activity that can consume a complex pretty quickly. They moved all their folks in, all their tactics, and slowly but surely moved all black people that were predominantly occupying this thing, or moved them out. And that's a microcosm of what we can expect. Look, man, tell me. I'd like someone anywhere in listening. Tell me the reason you are letting hundreds of thousands of immigrants come into this country, empowering them with taxpayer money to the tune of an obscene amount on a debit card, couple that with food stamps, and then throw in some housing at no cost. Now, folks, please understand these people don't have anything to do with their day except add to what the United States has given them. And so they now prowl our streets. They're not near the white folks. They prowl our streets, pocket full of money, able to buy a weapon and drugs, anything to stimulate their basest proclivities. And their closest victims that are not resemblant of themselves are Negroes, which is why our children are going missing in droves, why the crime rate against us in these communities have risen, and why slowly Black people are being pushed out. This is a mechanism. This is a mechanism to put down once and for all the Black presence in America, the Negro presence. Every reminder of what they did to us has waned heavy on their psyche, and it's fragmenting them. It's slowly driving them insane. And they're looking for any reason that they may find to slowly but surely eliminate us from the population of this country. We were never meant to be here to be included in its fake, false dream in the first place.
Yep.
And another problem is that, like, because you see the riots in the UK, and you're seeing droves and droves of Africans going back to Africa, going back to their home countries. And that's another problem that we have. Where can we go to? Right? Where can we go to as we're getting pushed out, as we're getting as more of us are going missing, as more of us are being terrorized.
And
Right?
this is where I think the Creator, the Most High, comes in most importantly. I think so many of us lose sight of the fact that it will take a supernatural occurrence to deliver us. We don't have guns. We don't have power. We don't have money. We don't have wealth. We don't have influence. We don't have political positioning. We don't have governmental positioning. And more importantly, as Hot Sauce brought out, we don't have our land. So the powerlessness of our plight juxtaposed to what's needed to be done to deliver us from that plight, it only equates to that ultimate power arriving, our power arriving to deliver us. I believe in the kingdom. I don't believe in Ghana and in Accra. I don't believe in Nigeria. I don't believe in Mali. I don't believe in Ethiopia. I don't believe none of that crap. All of that is leaving upon the arrival of God's kingdom. And he's coming to conquer. And anybody not on their knees immediately will be conquered. And there's a few set nations that are determined to stand. So I look at this as a checkmate situation on the part of on the part of the nations. There's no escaping what must happen to right this wrong. We've been moved out of position. They've taken our land, our resources, and for the last 400 years, they've bartered our property to enrich themselves, putting themselves in $35 trillion of debt, which they will never repay. All
Hey, you can't
predicated.
repair it.
Hmm?
You can't repair it.
Say that again?
Yeah, they've already admitted it will never be. You cannot pay it back.
It will never and cannot ever be repaid. So,
Yeah,
you know,
cannot.
there's a default situation, a bankrupt situation the United States is facing, and we are the markers. I don't think people understand. Where do you think the United States got its wealth? Every bit of the wealth of the United States is built on the backs of the enslavement of Negroes. Every enterprise that has been taken in modernity has been as an inception from the money achieved through the sale of slaves of Negroes in this country, spread throughout the earth, bartered, used as a control mechanism. That's the reason the dollar must fall. There's so much blood on the dollar, Negro blood. And so, yeah, I just, it's almost, it's ironic that the very nations they use the dollar to control have turned their backs on that blood-soaked denomination, created their own. And the only thing that happens next is the United States falls. And how it happens is irrelevant. It just that it must. I ran. No, I didn't. Did I run him off?
No, I think he had issues because he left. He'll be back.
Okay.
But you're right. You're right. Every single ounce of money, wealth obtained in this country was through the backs of the slave. You had 200 years of free labor to build this nation. And I'm not just going to say build. They love to say the South. It's not just the South. They had a hand in the South. We had a hand in the North, the East, and the West. And it was free for 200 years. Then when
And for that 200 years, they built a debt. See, they built a debt. I've now an answer for those that respond telling me that I didn't own slaves and my family didn't own slaves. And you're literally asking them, where do you think the wealth you've obtained came from? You think it came from their hard work, their honesty? Do you think it came from their equality? You think it came from their tolerance of anyone that didn't look like them in the 16, 17, 1800s?
That's what they want to take us back. They want to take us back.
And they would rather have that debt moved aside. They would rather have that debt wiped clean through whatever false pretense they have of their future, as opposed to understanding that no debt can ever go unrepaid.
Mm-hmm.
And the cumulative blood that they've put on the ground, I mean, I can't imagine if one person's blood cried out to heaven. Can you imagine what millions are saying?
Yes. Yes.
So it's go ahead. I'm sorry. I'll continue. I yield.
No. Don't yield. You're good. You're good. I mean,
we have other folks who are here. I just amazed at the Let me close this thought with this thought, and that is, for me, the tragedy is the ignorance within our own community of the facts. Not in this day and age. There is no excuse for anyone, not at least possessive of one of these devices I'm speaking to you on, that should not be up to speed or at least informed as to the reality of our Negro circumstances within this country. And there is a willful ignorance that is occurring. Those that intentionally look away to even suggestion that we are anything more than nothing. And to me, that's the real travesty of this situation. I've come into contact with some of these individuals. And it's, those of us that are content being defined by their measure. Anyway,
Yep.
go ahead.
We got a new person up here. Hot Sauce is back, and Sons of Judah.
Yes, ma'am.
Welcome, welcome. So,
Oh,
hello. So, what do you have to say about this subject?
to add to what Hot Sauce was saying real quick, when he was saying we don't have anywhere to go, this is all scriptural. This is what we're asking right now. And I don't believe that we're in a position where we know exactly yet, but we should still, as a community, keep looking. I believe the Most High, sees what's in our heart, and it's not just calling out. If all of us together are searching, I think He's going to. I don't know how best to describe this. I believe He hears our hearts, not just our voices. Um, so I believe we're at this position where we know we can't stay. We know
Sorry,
we
I
have
just
to.
have to ask a question.
Yes,
What,
sir.
what do you mean? You mean like where to go? What do you mean by that? I'm not following you.
The people are asking, where is Zion?
Oh, okay. Okay, I
I
got you.
believe that's where we're at right now. We don't have anywhere to go, and
Mm,
and this is what we're asking right now. Where is Zion? Where do we have to go?
mm.
You
And
know, an answer to that, one answer is they know exactly where they got us from.
oh, I know.
They not only do they know where they got us from at any moment in time in the past 400 years, any number of them could have informed us and telling us pinpoint precision where we came from. But the problem is, and I'm sorry to cut you off because it lends into something people are doing now, which is working with these same nations that worked with these colonizers to enslave us. And that's a problem for me. It's the reason I'm feel like some of us, stuck. Because I'm not negotiating. I got one thing to say. You got until our God gets back to give us all our stuff. And if you don't, he'll be back to take it from you. And since we know they're not going to move, I've said it before, I refuse to go hat in hand for what's rightfully ours. We don't have to negotiate. You know where we came from. Move your garbage and get out of our way. And do so before our God gets here, because when he gets here, he's not coming to talk to you. So, where are we from? They know where we're from. They know exactly where Negro land is
Problem
from.
is we don't. The big problem is we don't know. That's the
right,
big
we
problem.
don't know our language.
Right,
We
that's the
don't know
problem.
our religion. We don't know where our land is.
We can
I think
start
we're
there for sure.
I
We can
think we're
start
narrowing
there.
it down. I think we're getting closer and closer to figuring it all out. But I don't think we know quite yet. And I do believe that some of us aren't going to see it. A lot of us are going to be taken out beforehand, and called up, hopefully, to the new heaven and the new earth that He's setting up before us now. Um, but to also, I believe something's going to happen, and we're going to find out. I don't think Zion is actually ready for us yet. That's another thing.
Hey,
I don't.
We still got the wilderness, and I mean, and for the most part, I mean, we haven't even repented as a nation.
True.
Like we have. You know what? I have yet to hear any group repent for the death of Christ, because that's on us. I haven't heard nobody say anything about that. How like if you kill my son, I ain't doing nothing for you, right? And nobody is talking about that.
Yep. What's interesting is hot sauce. You're saying this, and I talked about it a couple of weeks ago, and I was sitting in the car and I was thinking about that and how our people.
I've apologized independently. I was like,
Yep.
Me too.
I repent for my forefathers for
Yeah.
picking Barnabas, because that is one of the most
Yep.
Negro-ish thing that we do, right? We don't celebrate,
Mhm.
like every time the dude come out of prison, we got cookouts, barbecues, and all that. Kid getting to college, oh, congratulations. So that was us. That was like, all right, you can let Barnabas go, you can string up the Messiah. It's all good.
I do believe that there were bad actors in the audience that were riling us against our best vote.
Bro, the
And that
scriptures say, let it be on our children's children.
yes,
Let it
yes.
be on. So we gotta
Ultimately, the
be
decision is ours. Yes, but I
right.
do believe that there were bad actors, just as there are bad actors right now trying to lead us to vote against our best interests.
Right, but I mean, we got. I mean, we got to address because that's one of the biggest elephants in the room. Because one of the things that the reason this is just my personal opinion. One of the things I think that because after the 400 years of slavery is up, I think things are not the way we're supposed to be. Is because a lot of times we come off as we're innocent and we're not.
We're not. You're right.
We come off as innocent, like, oh, white people do this and they crazy and they're horrible people. Well, the Most High allowed that to happen for a reason, right? Because the wicked is there to chastise the righteous. So if we are the righteous, if we are the saints, why is the wicked chastising us? Because we out of pocket somewhere.
But they got out of pocket by going overboard. They
Yeah, no
got out
doubt,
of
no
pocket
doubt,
by
no
not
doubt.
following the conduct and rules regarding the enslavement or possession of people specifically. And let's be clear about this. We not just any old slave.
Right.
We're not just any old slaves. These people knew who they were taking possession of, and they had a responsibility to treat
Yeah.
us specifically well. And I mean that even in the face of the punishment we had to serve. The look, man. I mean, whippings, beatings, whatever we want to call it. Is it just forced labor? Is it free labor? What? God was pretty specific. Here's what he said. He said, "You should build, and others will occupy. You will plant, and others will eat." That's the slaveman. We were in the cotton
Right.
fields. We helped build the country. When nobody talked about getting burned alive, castrated. Nobody talked about raping and sex farms and all
Yeah,
this
yeah,
other
yeah, yeah,
nonsense.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
nobody talked about So the issue here is not just our culpability in all that occurred, because we did pass our children to the fire to bow. We did marry strange women. We did worship false gods, and we are culpable for that. I like to use this sometimes when I'm doing my thing. I ain't talking about that right now. I'm talking about them.
No,
And I'm
but
talking about, and I
right.
mean, I say that because it's important we focus on the fact that in most respects, our punishment has been meted out. And I understand that we got here.
No, because punishment is based on time, right? It's based on, in the prophecies is based on time. So, but first I want to say something. I absolutely 1,000% agree with you when they said they went too far, because the scriptures don't say nothing about making clothes out of our skins and feeding our children.
Making Nate juice.
You're absolutely right, and I want 100% agree with that, so that nobody misunderstands where I'm coming from. But the position of just being in slavery for this amount of time, that's where we're culpable from. So I think a couple of things can be true at one time. Yes, did they go way overboard? Yes. Are they going to get punished for that? Yes. Is it going to be 1,000 times worse? Yes. But the fact is, the point that we're here, the point that we hear, and we're not repenting as a group, and I like individuals maybe are repenting about the Messiah thing, but it's not talked about.
No,
Because that's the in my opinion, I don't have scriptures on this. This is just my opinion. You can take it, leave it, whatever. But
No,
my
I
opinion,
understand. I understand what you're saying.
right?
And
But
the numbers are small, but remember, only 2/3. Well, the third is supposed to make it anyway.
right. But my point is just that until we start repenting for that as a group,
I
as a
agree.
unity, I think, man, it's gonna be a hard road because
Yep.
in Leviticus something, it says that after you are punished and you still don't repent, the punishment comes back 7 times fold, right? Because people think, okay, I served my time, is up. But in Babylon, when they came back, in Daniel, it talks about, but their heart was still unrepented. So the Most High punished them again 7 times fold before their refusal to repent as a nation.
Well, remember
And
that
so,
the creator's coming here to in the nick of time, if you will, for the benefit of the righteous. And I'm pretty sure it's
can't be
evident that most folks have made their choice. A lot of folks have made their choice, man.
That's true.
I mean, I look at them kids in Chicago, partner. Look, I wouldn't take my life in my hand, risking it, go down there trying to tell them knuckleheads anything right about now. You hear me?
Amen
And
to
if
that.
I'm gonna wait for
Amen.
them to repent, if I'm gonna wait for them to confess their ancestors and all and recognize, man, look, I'll be waiting a long time and risking my life while doing it.
No, that's kind of what I was saying earlier. A lot of us are just not going to make it. It's not going to happen. But for
Yeah,
those
it's baked
that are,
in. Some of us it's just baked. Look, man, I look at everything. Let me tell you one thing you might consider. This good dude, some of y'all probably know him. His name is Poetic Flacco. Now, probably some of y'all have seen him. Now, his last video involving the retribution a young man faced after going to dig somebody's grave up. You know, they found him Friday, put bullets in his chest and hand and put him down. Yeah, he took a video of these type things now, digging up folks' grave. So look, we got women and men producing boys like that in droves, and it's not stopping. The boys that got killed Friday, somebody's already talking about how they happy he did to Saturday. So I agree with you. Some ain't just gonna make it. So I hope God Almighty is not counting on those fools. I don't think he is.
I
Quick
don't think he
question.
is.
Real
And
quick question.
also,
One
sorry.
sec. I'm reading this, and y'all tell me what y'all your thoughts are. I've come across quite a few people that said this, and I see their point, and to an extent, I do agree. He says that 2/3 have already perished. We who remain are the remnant.
I agree. I agree with this. I agree because 2/3 start. It's from 70 to AD till now, right? Like people, yeah. I agree.
And if it's not, I believe we're very
Well,
close
if
to
we're
that
talking
number.
about, I mean, if we're talking about, as you know, we got to remember the reflective nature of everything that exists. And if we, if 2/3 of, I mean, how many people are going to be left on the planet? I mean, there's a bunch of, there's a lot of people on the planet are going to be dead. So would not just 2/3 of the 2/3. You say it's all the rest of the Negroes that are
No.
alive
Because
today?
when it talks about 2/3 of Israel will not make it, right? It's not
Mm.
talking about, okay, when I come back, I'm just gonna kill 2/3 automatically. It's talking about throughout the punishment of Israel. Throughout the punishment of Israel.
Well, here's hoping. I will. I've not heard that as an interpretation. That would probably improve the numbers surviving here. But I believe the point was the line has been drawn, and I think people have, for the most part, chosen sides. Now it's just about digging in. I'm about digging in. I got to dig into the kingdom, dig into this. because and make a point of digging in, because I see the other side. I see them, and let me tell you something, man. You
Well,
ain't no reaching. Ain't no reaching
well,
them.
let me say this, because when you look in the Strong Concordance, the remnant, the literal definition of the remnant just means who's alive.
Dig it.
That's what it means. It's
Dig it.
just who's alive.
Dig it.
So that's why I
That's
agree with
pretty
that.
good. That's a good dividing
Well,
line right there.
we haven't gone through everything that needs to be gone through before Mashiach appears when we're in the wilderness where he's pleading with us. So folks in today's vernacular hear the word plead as some type of submissive
Yeah.
desire to grant a wish, when in actuality, when you look at
Crack your
our
heads.
legal system, when you look at our legal system, a pleading is actually charges being brought against you in a court of law.
Be guilty to those charges. Exactly.
And so that's what we're going to be dealing with in the wilderness. Now, for those who make it to the wilderness, because redemption and salvation are two different things.
Right.
We have a redeemer. For those who will be alive, they will be redeemed. They'll go to the wilderness where there will be a
Right. You'll be
pleading.
redeemed. Yeah.
There'll
Everyone
be
will
a
be
hearing.
redeemed. Yeah. Yeah. I
There will
agree
be
with
a
that. Yes.
hearing. There will
Yeah.
be a hearing.
Yeah.
And
I
so
say
that's kind of what I see for that. But before we even get there, these folks, these wicked folks, have so much more wickedness planned
Oh
for
man.
us before the collapse of Babylon. My whole thing
Sick.
is this. I hear you guys talking, and there are a couple different schools of thought, and they're based on scripture. And so you can take it any way you want, but here's what you better do. If the Ruach Elohim is speaking to you, you better do what he tells you to do. If it tells you to flee, if it tells you to leave, and I think someone might have said this before this, or I might have heard this, earlier. If he provides you the means to leave and he gives you the method, because I don't know how he speaks to you. He speaks to me through my creativity, or sometimes he'll just out and out have a conversation with me when I didn't know who I was. And it's amazing how, man, I want to say that somebody was saying this earlier. I don't remember though. But the question was always answered about why us, who are we, why us and stuff like that. And I just turned 60 years old. So
Congratulations.
I've
congratulations.
seen a lot. Thank you. I've seen this country go through its phases where our people started to move, and prior to that, they were not moving. But on the topic that Sister E had framed this whole live around, we've been just frogs in a pot of low boiling water. They started this stuff after World War One, if y'all don't remember. The whole Cesar Chavez and the farm workers and all that stuff. That's where all this stuff started. And by 1955, these folks had replaced us in the fields. We moved into the factories.
And if you remember, brother, there was a danger. They thought that we would unite. I'm
Exactly.
58. I remember that. They thought that that the migrants and the Negroes would reunite. They had to create some kind of friction. But
Yeah,
continue.
that's their MO though. That's their MO throughout history. And for those of us who are hating, for those of our people that are hating on the people on the continent, remember, guys, this is their MO. And see, we grew up during their time. Me and Doug grew up during their time where they were showing us Sally Struthers and the flies, and we like, oh hell no, oh no,
Mm,
oh no,
mm,
no. See,
mm.
America, you got to remember who created advertising.
We know
Okay,
who's controlling the media and who the news. Yes.
Yeah, but the
okay,
problem,
these are the same
the
people.
problem
Wait,
with
wait, wait. These are the same people. These are the same people that basically created and ran the slave trade.
You know what
yeah,
I
I
mean?
don't like I just Sister E, I just
So,
say something, Sister E, real quick. Sister E, please, I just want to mention again, please watch that video at that timestamp because it talks about this stuff we're talking about now. So please, because I really want to get your opinion on that at a later date.
And you know, I was just thinking the point you made, Don. This is what leans into the orchestrated nature of this whole activity of these migrants just flooding in the United States. If you look at what is representative of what a black person is today in the eyes of white people currently, and in order to do so, you have to look at the folks they hold up and elevate as our stars, and they have somehow mistakenly thinking that all of us think those are our role models. So I'll call them our role models. So these role models are indicative of the current mental state of Negroes today. And as you and I in same age, I'm thinking about the fact that they couldn't have done this in the 70s and the 80s. They couldn't have flooded black communities with immigrants, because there was a lot of men, a lot of black men still back in the communities, and we had what I call our damn common sense back then.
right.
And the individuals who sold us into slavery, orchestrated the Civil War, maintained that energy that assisted them into creating the state of Israel, these same individuals in charge of the media, in charge of the news, in charge of these things, have somehow moved and guided the entertainment perception of what black people are so too much that it has affected our perception, and we look like a bunch of damn clowns. And that's the top tier of us looking stupid, mostly. And then the second tier are those bootlickers that are in the Senate and the state that tell us that, best times was when we had Jim Crow. And so they sauteed the community just so they had peppered this, they added this and all this, and now they got a hot damn mess. And it's the perfect time to interject these people into our community.
Correct. And it goes back into this, you can type in hot sauce. It goes back into the subject of, are the migrants replacing the black community? As I'm hearing right now, what they're saying,
they've been doing it.
It's a slow go.
They've
sorry.
been doing it.
Yeah,
and I wanted to finish that thought before Doug jumped in.
Hold on 1 second. I just want to say, but it's a process. It's been that way for a while. First they started out having dry cleaners and stuff in our neighborhoods, making money off the liquor stores, things like that. It's always been here. It's just been a slow and steady progress, right? And now we're just at the crescendo where now they're just ready to just kind of take over the neighborhoods completely, right? They have enough money, they have enough government assistance and things like that. So now it's just to completely replace us.
Well, you got to look at, like you were saying, hot sauce was a progression, right? And so I wondered, I was leading somewhere when I was talking about this whole progression. A writer by the name of Michael Harrington wrote a book which was published in 1959 called The Other America. And there's a whole chapter in there on the weaponization of immigration. And it's really a trip when you read it. And he has that old statement in there: if you're white, you're all right. If you're yellow, you're mellow. He has that whole statement in there.
Yeah.
And we see from 1959, when this book was published, to where we are now. I live in Northern California in San Francisco. And my business takes me around the whole Bay Area, about 60 miles radius. And all of the work that we used to do, they're doing it.
So that's what I'm saying, because before,
So
like, the progression is this. The progression is this. You had the
they came
model
out of the
minority,
field. They keep
right? You had
following behind us. But now
right, right. Well, you first,
the model minority is a different case, and I
but
was
hold
going
on.
to state that
I want to
too.
say, yeah, I want to say this really quickly, because first you had the buffer class, right? The Asian Latinos were the buffer class. They were the buffer between whites and blacks. Then it
No,
became,
no,
yeah,
no,
yes.
no,
Then
no,
it
no,
became
not
the
in
model
not in
minority.
American history. They were not. Let's go
Y'all are
1865
hilarious.
forward. 1865 forward. You had these other people
Yeah.
that were called Irish, Polish,
There
Italian.
you go.
Those were your
Okay.
buffers.
Well,
Okay.
okay.
Then they became white
I
people
White
thought we
folks.
left on
when
top. I
when
thought
they
we left.
invented the classification of white and black. That's when they
Polish
became
became
white
white,
people.
Italian became Italian.
Then they let the Chinese in so they could exploit them to build the Western Railroad, because
Right.
unlike the lie, we built the railroads in the West.
So
I mean, excuse
so
me, in the
so
part
so
of the
so
West,
so
but in the
so
South and
so
the
like I
East.
was saying, like I was saying before, right? There's the buffer class between the Latin and Asians that translated or trickulated into the model minority, which now you have the model minority, which is now pushing out blacks, the minority. That's my point,
They're gonna
right?
Right.
And then on
this
top,
is
and
There's a reason why.
on top of that, and on
Okay,
top of
one
that,
mic, y'all. Let him
you
finish
have
this point.
and on
Don't
top of
finish.
that, you have blacks that are no longer quote unquote race loyal. I forgot there's a college professor from the U Penn that talks about the racial divide and how now even blacks see America, especially the whoever's after millennial Gen Z, they see a no longer a racial world, right?
I don't know.
So
I don't know about that. I don't know about that at all. I
yeah,
don't know
so
about that
so
at
so
all.
it's a combination. It's a combination of those things between the buffer class to the model minority to blacks
It
to the next the young generation of blacks 30 and younger who see a colorless world. And I'll pass
is
the
that
mic.
true, or is that just programming? Is that true, or is that just programming? I would say it's programming, because of the
Well, I
fact
mean,
that they
but
want
that's their
to. Here's the
perspective.
deal.
That's
Here's
their
the deal.
perspective.
The
when we're
ones who
talking
control
about
the media.
perception.
Hold up, Doug.
Good,
Come on, man.
good, good.
What? Who?
Well,
Those who
one
own the
mic. Go
media.
ahead, Don. Just say what you got to say, and then I'm gonna let everybody else talk too as well. And hot sauce, let me let everybody talk too as well. We got new people up here, so get your point out, and we move it to the next group of people. So come on.
Those who control the media are trying to pitch that narrative. That is what they're trying to program you into, because they want to eliminate you through several different means, and that is one of them. When I was looking for a video before I jumped on here, or actually I was switching devices or whatever. Here we go with the commercial, and who you think is in the commercial? A black man, a white woman, and a mulatto child. They are hitting us on all different fronts. And the reason why you don't see and haven't seen the acceleration, because you got to remember, the Asians started immigrating over here prior to the Latinos. But the Latinos are a greater percentage of the population. Why? Proximity. That's why. And then, of course, corporate America's greed wanted to use these people from a slave. See, they're always following in behind us, taking our jobs, and the way that they're able to take them is at accepting lower wages. And I'll land right there.
All right. Anybody else? Well, we got Sons of Judah and we got Christopher Blackwell. So, Christopher, you just came up here. What you got to say?
Hey there, shalom, shalom, everybody.
Shalom.
Okay, so I have an interesting take on this whole matter regarding the migrants. My background is in finance with a touch of IT in the background, but predominantly in accounting and finance is my background. So from that perspective, I like to offer this concept of what I believe is happening with respect to the migrants and why they're being propped up so heavily. Okay, so we know that BRICS is like basically getting stronger and stronger with each passing day. And you have countries like China, Russia. Well, at one point was Russia, but now they're completely banned. But you have Iran and all the other countries. They're now, in Japan included, they're not buying as much or buying any more bonds, treasury bonds that the U.S. Treasuries are issuing to raise funds to pay for the inner workings of the American government. So with that said, and then you have a lot of countries like Japan and China who are selling off all of their treasury bonds. What happens is the bonds are being sold worldwide, and what that does is it exports all of our inflation to overseas. That's why you have all these little countries that require U.S. dollars and the petrodollar in concert. They're eating up all of America's inflation. But now that they're aligning themselves, everyone's picking sides, pro East or pro Global South versus the West. America being the leaders, the inarguable leaders of the West. Everyone now is choosing sides, and they're selling all these bonds. And then what that happens is the money. The actual money that's floating around the world is starting to come back to America. So what that does is, if you have a set number of people here, and you only have a certain number of physical plants building things here and manufacturing, and you only have a certain number of financial activity that's occurring in the or economic activity that's occurring in the United States, in the contiguous United States. Then you flood all this money back over here because they're selling all the petrodollars and selling currencies. What that does is it causes prices to spike. So you got all this extra money chasing fewer and fewer goods. There's a secret war going on, an economic war against America, and they're slowly but surely cutting off the supplies that America used to rely heavily upon, especially when it comes to China coming into this country. So you have more and more U.S. dollars bills chasing fewer and fewer goods, and the goods that are being sold are becoming lesser and less of quality, including the produce and things that foodstuffs that are actually made in the U.S. They're becoming more and more relaxed with their high standards of quality. But what that does is it makes it apparent to all those that can understand dollars and cents. Like even on the basic level, you don't have to be a finance major or an expert or anything like that to notice that money is not holding its weight anymore with respect to these prices. And you have these people out here promoting a certain agenda, saying, "Hey, the American economy is great, Democrat this, rah rah rah." So to hide that, they're allowing huge numbers of people to come into this country, and when that happens, you got to fund them. If you fund them with the money that's already here, then the prices are going to get worse and worse. It's going to be more. It's going to be more egregious. It's going to be hurting the upper crust of the middle class, and that's their foundation base. So they don't want to mess with those people, at least not yet in this game. So what they're doing is they're bringing all these migrants over here for a dual purpose, not only to quote unquote replace us and basically smack us in the face with all these migrants, pitting us against them and the migrants against migrants for different groups in different countries. But they have all that money that you're seeing on those receipts that people were talking about. When migrants are getting non-recourse loans, they're getting low interest loans, they're getting free passes at certain illegal activities. They look the other way, all these other things, and they're giving them $12,000 to $15,000 a month of welfare benefits and cash benefits, like in different cities. What that does is it increases the population base. So when all those monies coming into the country, it doesn't look as bad because now you got more people dealing with more money. Whereas if you had the same number, let's say, for example, there's exactly 300 million people in this country and no more, and all that money starts flooding back into this country because no one wants to buy treasury bonds anymore, it's going to make the money worth less and less and less each and every day. Like we talking about Walmart Republic, Germany type inflation. It's going to be like that, or even Venezuela. But now you have all these immigrants, and they're more, how do we say, they're more resourceful with, and they uh, resourceful in creating opportunities among their families and their communities, sending money back. That's a way for the government to hedge off inflation because the U.S. Treasury can no longer control inflation. The market makers can't control it. The people that's producing or selling the goods and services, the imports that are coming in, they're all losing control of this inflation. And the best way to go about doing that is to make it appear the country is being more economically viable. But the way to do that, and basically they're having a cake and eating it too. Not only are they, excuse me, not only are they producing more quote unquote taxpayers, eventually their children and so forth, but they're also getting support for the Democratic Party because they know that they've been messed with us so many times and we don't want to vote for them anymore because they don't want to pay us reparations, right? So they know that our groanings is increasing and we're becoming more and more dissatisfied. And then you throw in this whole Israel thing and war in Gaza, that's a whole nother ball of wax. I don't want to get into that. But they know because of these things, they have to find another base to increase their poll numbers. And the only way to do that is to, look the other way, give them their welfare card, give them their Social Security, even though they never paid into it, give them their disability income, give them free car loans, business loans, give them welfare loans. I mean, a welfare which they don't have to pay back. So you have more people, and then what that does is those migrants that are here illegally, it also allows them to send money back out of the country. So when you create an artificial demand for dollars, and you're sending all this extra money that they're getting when they buying their products, they're buying their cars, they shipping these stuff over to their respective countries, you're mitigating the problems of inflation. But what the bottom line is, they can't stop it. They can only slow it down. And they try to slow it to the point where they can keep on with their agenda, but it's backfiring because we know what Yah, our Father, is doing is since 2019, if you think about it, every action that they try to accomplish is having a backfire effect on them. So them trying to put these migrants here, what we can debate whether it's legal or illegal or moral or immoral, what they're doing is actually backfiring because now they got all these criminals who don't care about the law, don't care about paying taxes, don't care about law. They're actually declaring war on law enforcement. They thought that dealing with black people in the ghetto was a problem. They ain't seen nothing yet. And I land my plane there.
Good information. So ultimately, they're fudging the numbers based off of head count and dollar flow. That's what it sounds like. The higher the head count, the less it looks like there's a lot of money circulating based on the population.
And the shortages are real. The shortages he's talking about are real. I've seen it. The others have seen it. And so what they're doing is they're pouring dollars in the hands of others to buy the shortage goods anyway, which effectively middles us out if we can't get to the store on time, if you will. You know what? It was interesting. He juxtaposed them getting all this money and we don't get reparations, but they grab people in here and they give them money, but they deny us the reparations. I was thinking that their thought idea may be, what will we do with the money that we get if they give us reparations compared to what immigrants do with the money they get? And that's something that we were taught. That kind of irresponsibility is generational.
See, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that point at all. I don't go there. I don't prescribe to it, because there's just too many other factors. That is a gaslighting point. that's used by white supremacists. Christopher made some very,
Hold on. What point exactly? If you decide to come at me like that, what have I used that's about white supremacy?
we don't know we don't know what they're going to do with the money. Well, it ain't none of your damn business.
Say, well, first and foremost, sir, I don't parrot white supremacist trope. What I said, let me, because you first know what you made the mistake in coming to me real foul. Like I said something so out of pocket. Don't make it personal, man. What I said was real simple. Hold up, man. Hold up.
That wasn't foul.
I have been. Listen, man. Why don't you stall me out? Because you hear something you don't agree with. You gonna let me finish? Because you decide to reach out and touch me, partner. You poked it. That's right. Beat it. I'm not sitting there for that. Let me tell you again. I've been in the business world. I've hired, fired, trained, and retrained. I got brothers and sisters that I put in position, making money, doing things, and guiding along the way all the things I need to do. And what I said was, their thinking might be what we would do with the money if we got our hands on it, juxtaposed to what they do with the money when they got handed. And then I followed it up with, that is a learned product of being here. And it is. And I don't care what anybody say about it, because I look at the folks that got money, like Jay-Z, like other billionaires, like fucking, Oprah, who are literally instructed to do nothing for the black community. So don't tell me I'm troping white nonsense, man. Sorry, I didn't mean to cuss.
That's the
But you better be careful, man. Be careful coming at me.
I don't need to be careful because I know what I know.
Bottom line is, I don't know what your problem is, partner. If you comment on the comment, don't get insulting.
All right.
I don't give a damn. I didn't come off like no damn bully before you opened up your mouth.
Hey,
everybody, I like that, man. Don't you dare reach out and try to tap me, partner.
Ain't nobody trying to reach out and touch you,
Brother Doug.
Well, then just watch your mouth. Watch your mouth. That's what you do. Get somewhere, clown.
Okay.
I don't like that, man.
Now I will say
I don't like that. You made that. You know what? Don't ever tell me I'm trope right white nonsense.
We can talk like men, but don't talk to me foul.
Then don't come at me. I checked your ass. Don't come at me again.
Oh, okay then. Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Everybody breathe. I'm not playing that music because I get hit with a strike every time I play that music. Y'all know I want to hit that music so bad, but they keep hitting me with a strike every time I play it. All right, everybody breathe. Now, what's up?
Sister, yeah, I believe they were arguing the same point.
I do too. That's what
That's
I'm
the
like,
funny thing about it.
Everybody, yeah. Go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry.
What I was just saying,
I'm sorry, that was Son and Judy.
understanding what the argument was about.
Hold on.
No.
Okay,
Hello?
everybody
Can you hear
calm
me now? Yeah, I'm cool.
down. Okay. So
I
no
said what I
coming
said.
after one another. We up here, we unified. We can disagree, but everybody calm. Now I think somebody said y'all arguing the same point. I think it was Chris or either Sons of Judah.
Yeah, I believe you guys are arguing the same point. I believe, Brother Doug, you were saying that this was a learned thing, that it's not true. And Brother Don is basically saying that, yeah, that's white separatists put out there, is that we can't trust what black people will do with their money. So I believe you guys were arguing the same point. You were just saying it differently. And Brother Don, I get what you're saying, and I understand, Brother Doug, how it seemed as though he was coming at you, but I don't think he was coming at you. I think he was just picking that one thing out of your conversation and saying, yeah, but that's because it is.
All he had to do is make a point, man. All he had to do is open his mouth. He ain't got to say anything about, what he was real strong about it, dude. Just, if you disagree, I disagree and then say what you're saying. But then you can go into what I'm putting in my mouth, saying something white folks say, no, they don't. I've been in the business world. Okay, for 35 years, I've been in the business world. And let me tell you, something, I give more brothers and sisters jobs I count. So sit there and tell me what I know and don't know. And why don't you, before you read into what I say, why don't you think every word? I'm very exact. And I don't appreciate that the tone you took with it either. That's what I'm saying.
But to the
Now,
point, I also believe that it's not about age at all. It's about spiritual maturity. What we do with our money, what we do, or what we find value in.
and that encompasses all that I was kind of trying to say. And it wasn't I'm not sitting there trying to disparage what brothers and sisters do collectively, because there are reasons we do everything we do. We were taught to do everything. And so I just made a point because it was carried into, it is interesting that they've taken and somebody made the point that they collectively put their money together and they do this and they have all these opportunities. That's because it's slated that way. We're expected not to have those opportunities. Fill out all the damn applications you want. Doesn't matter. They're going to ask you what color you are in the end. So we don't expect to do anything. So I was like I was conditioning my comment on that as a factor. But I will not be attacked. I will not be personally attacked. Trust and believe.
No attacking everybody. Y'all leave.
Yeah,
Y'all
I
no
don't
attack.
believe in his heart, Brother Don was trying to attack you,
Now
like spiritually attack you.
I do think that Don was throwing a shot at him.
No,
I'm just
Sister E, no, Sister E, you're wrong. You're wrong. And I'm going
y'all
to tell
gotta
you,
be
this is why
nice.
I've been able to be silent this whole time. Is because
Wait a
I was a man that was entrusted by government with the ultimate powers. With the ultimate powers. See, I can possess my spirit. I can control my tongue. I can do all the things I need to do so that I don't have to exercise the authority that the government gave me.
Oh God.
So I don't need to talk about my background to prove a point. My point was this, which I didn't even get to finish before I got jumped in on. My point was that is an excuse that they use. It's a gaslighting point because historically, when you look at us and we had some money, what did we do? Now, I'm not saying we're the same people as our ancestors, but a lot of us are. And through the media, propaganda, of course, they're always going to show you the worst of the worst because they're trying to paint a picture. But I think the majority of us, that's what they fear. That's why they don't want to give us no money because they've seen what happened historically when we had something and was willing to put in that work.
Do we even want the money anymore?
We
We
don't.
know that
You
they
know
can't.
what?
We know that they can't pay us back
Right.
everything that we build. We know that
I'm not even
to
worried about
Christopher's
it.
point.
I'm not
Yeah,
even worried about it.
no,
I
I'm
I'm
ain't
seriously
gonna
not
play
even
that
worried about
game. We
to
supposed
Christopher's
to leave with great substance.
it.
I'm
That's where
sticking
I'm
to
at.
that. Great
right.
substance
That's
can
where
be,
I'm at.
but great substance can be money. Great substance can be resources. Great. I don't care what great substance. As long as I get my great substance, I'm good. And they're gonna have to pay it. So when people say, "Well, we ain't getting it," yes, we are, because the word says that we won't leave with great substance. So we're not gonna
Exactly.
leave
That's why I'm
empty-handed.
letting you trip
The
off of that. That's why I'm letting you trip off of
Egyptians,
that stuff.
when Israel left Egypt, they left with great substance.
That's
They
right.
said this Exodus is going to be greater than the last Exodus. So us
That's right.
leaving, I don't know what that great substance is going to look like, what it is, but I know we leaving with something. Something. It ain't going to be nothing. So
No, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be so good. They'll be like, "Can we go with y'all? Can we go with y'all?" It's gonna be. That's why I'm not even tripping on this whole stuff. And then the way that they have manipulated us in history to get us further away from where we are. But all praise to the Yah. See, my birth certificate says Negro. That has historical significance. At least today it does, because now I've studied and learned about ancient places like called Negro Land and the Kingdom of Ruda. See, all that stuff is so beautiful the way the Most High works, and he is working in this time. And I don't know about y'all, but I come from a pretty large family, but I'm the only one riding on this rail. And so, yeah, back to what we was talking about with a lot of us not making it, because he said he was going to send that delusion. And so, at any rate, yeah, these immigrants are. I think the Most High is using them because he's in control of everything. So I think he's using them for his purpose, and he always uses the Gentiles to annoy us, to get us back in line where with his program. So we'll see, but it's not going to be good. And I ain't trying to be around here. I'm trying to be like hot sauce. I'm trying to be the hell out of here.
Okay, I would like to add something. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, just to piggyback off of what Don P just said, excuse me, Don Ben Yehuda, what he just said, going back to the topic about the money situation, when I said that everything that they're doing is going to backfire, the reason why I'm adding that is or saying that is because we know that in the scriptures that not only that America or Mystery Babylon are going to be surrounded by her enemies, but a lot of her allies will betray her. So whatever it is that they're attempting to do, whether we are aware of it or not, of what their true aim is in helping these migrants coming in over here, it could be a whole myriad of reasons. Doesn't matter. We know that the end result is it's going to hasten their destruction and not going to delay it, because we got people coming out there doing all kinds of things in this country that we never saw before. With respect, like they just taking over apartment complexes, declaring war, they shooting up with cops and all these other things that we as a people, even in our criminal states, weren't doing. And if you look at it, I mean, it was like New Jack City that almost they just took over the whole apartment complex. What do you think is going to happen to the economic value of that neighborhood, or even the income streams of these miniature or small or mid-sized corporations that's deriving income from rent and royalty
We
income?
are the salt of the earth.
Yeah. So the thing
So
is,
when
what's
we're
going to happen
gone,
is that
the meat spoils.
they're going to be betrayed in such a way where whatever that's going to happen, that money is going to be filtered out of this society, is going to get pulled into their respective countries. They're going to be converted over to real property or real assets or buying power when they can start to compete against America and getting supplies imported from China and other places, outbid America because America is broke. Then they're gonna after they buy their goods in their home countries, that money is just gonna come right back over to America anyway, and it's just gonna hasten the destruction. Think about how America has all these all around the world, like 88 or so, probably even more than that now, of different military bases around the world. That stuff isn't doled out for free. They're paying all this so many dollars per day to maintain those things, and they're paying the host country to operate those bases all over the world. That makes money have any value whatsoever. It's basically based on the military power of the United States. One by one, eventually, it's going to get to the point where they're going to say, "Well, you got to transact in BRICS currency or some other currency, or we're not taking dollars anymore." So they're going to have to leave that country. Then the other country is going to sign on to that one. And yeah, we gotta have this agreement with the global South, and you don't have any party to it. So we gotta take gold from you. We can't accept your dollars. Once these things started to happen, the military arm of America is going to start collapsing. Like it's going to collapse at a rapid pace, and then you're going to see a situation where the people that are in the military, primarily those that are still based in the U.S., won't be receiving their paychecks. And you know what's going to happen after that? You're going to have people just drop out. You're gonna have people dropping out of the corporate. You're gonna have people dropping out, like, and then dropping out of the State Department level, all of the the civilian levels, and it's not going to be sufficient for them to operate. And that's when you're going to have all those super elite rich people who have already sold out America, already abandoned America, or the ones that decided to dig in their hills and build bunkers in the country. They're going to just go underground, and you're going to have this corporation, formerly known as the United States, are going to be running itself to the ground with no head, and it's just going to get worse and worse. And it's going to become apparent that there's no one at the helm. It's going to be apparent that the government is a former dead shell of itself, like how a snake shed its skin. You're going to think that that's the snake, but when you get close to it to inspect it, there's nothing there but the husk.
Chris, let me ask you, because I wanted to ask you because you had very good.
Second, go ahead, Doug.
I was just going to ask you because you have a very keen insight into how you explain it. And is there the possibility? I'm thinking that this election is going to be the catalyst through which whatever they're going to do to each other. And then the countries either at that point will try to attack America. You're saying that it's going to be an economic decay. Let me ask you, do you think there's a possibility it won't even make it as far as you've so well put it? That's my question.
With respect to the election, I don't think this is my opinion, my educated opinion based on what I see in the markets. I don't think America has until the election.
Me either.
Before,
See, I'm with you on that. I'm with you.
Before there's a drastic downturn on economics. So like how you and I operate, when we have a lot of money flowing and things are cheap, we buy anything and everything we want. We buy extra just because we can get it. But then when the money's tight, we got to tighten our belts. We started to say, well, we got to put down the ho-hos. We got to put down those donuts, and we got to get just the essentials. And then when money gets even tighter, well, we can't get all the essentials. Let's just get the bulk items, the high calorie stuff. And then you're going to say, well, we can no longer afford to get everything on a shopping list, but let's go ahead and shop here to get most of our goods. And then we go to the second store and get the secondhand items, like the not secondhand, but like what do you call those things? Those food pantries to get your other stuff because you couldn't afford to get everything. And it's going to go downhill from there. So in like manner, American government is going to do the same thing. They're going to start to prioritize what, and the Federal Reserve Bank has already said that they were going to do that in U.S. Treasury, that they're going to have to prioritize which bill they're going to pay. Eventually, they're going to get to the stage when they can't pay all their bills. And when you miss one payment, one interest payment, when you miss one payment to any bondholder, you're in default to all of them. And once that happens, it's going to the credit rating, which is already spiraling downward, it's going to crash. And once that happens, the interest rate is going to go all the way up. So for every dollar that the U.S. borrows today is going to be 10 times higher than what it was when they borrowed yesterday. And the thing about it is, they're not even fiscally responsible. They're spending $4 trillion today, and they pay it back with interest by borrowing money tomorrow. They're not paying money back on money that they earn. They're paying money back on what they borrow for tomorrow. And when they borrow tomorrow, so they're going to be retiring debt that might be, say, 3% interest, and they're going to pay that 3% interest debt, or maybe just the interest on that debt, by borrowing more money at 10%. That's what they're doing. It's just going to get worse over time. So if you look at it from that standpoint, I'm just being honest, and I'm not being too because I'm actually looking forward to this happening so we can go home and go to the wilderness. But just from an empirical standpoint, what I'm looking at is going to get worse and worse and worse, and with each passing day, it's going to accelerate of its downward spiral, and it's going to get to the point where America is going to have to start determining who they're going to pay first, or who's not going to get paid this paycheck or this pay period. Or they're going to come up with some excuse, or banking error, or someone got hacked, or we couldn't pay Social Security this month because everyone's Social Security got hacked, and then somehow the money got messed up. They're going to come up with all kinds of lame excuses. They're going to start producing more dollar bills, which is cheaper to make than the coins, because the coins is real money and dollar bills is just more debt. So you're going to see more dollar bills, you're going to see less coinage, and then you're going to start seeing more companies that are like retail stores telling you that they can't give out change. You're going to start seeing those kind of things happen. And then you're going to start seeing things that are imported, tripled and quadrupled in price overnight. Today, a gallon of gas might be $3. Tomorrow it's going to be $6 and then 15, things like that. So if we can learn what's going to happen to this country by reviewing what happened in World War prior to World War I and World War II. What happened to Germany when they were experiencing hyperinflation? It got so bad in Germany that every employee that worked had to be paid twice a day, and they were paid in wheelbarrows full of money just for them to get a loaf of bread. That's how bad it's going to get. So they're going to try to subvert that, like I said, with these immigrants to help downplay it or to misguide it, have you focus as a distraction, not only for us as a people, but their own people, the Americans themselves, the privileged class, are going to be so distracted by all these other fires. They're not going to be seeing the actual judgment coming right in front of their face. Because they're
You're
going to
right
be
about one thing, Chris, is that these immigrants' money ain't going to do it, because right now a 2024 standard truck, I'm just going somewhere here, is $100,000. That's how much a brand new car costs, a truck, just like a run of the mill Dodge or something, 100,000. That's
right.
the kind of purchase needed or required to sustain the economy. I happen to have been in the car business for a little bit. And if these immigrants are trusted to with $5,000 or whatever loans, yeah, all they can do is slow things down. You're fascinating, sister. You
Right.
ought to have him on.
I
Give us all
am.
this.
Christopher,
You know what,
go ahead,
Doug? Check this
Christopher,
out. So you're
Christopher.
talking about a truck or a car at $100,000. It wasn't conceivable less than 10, 15
Just
years ago
yeah,
to buy a house for that price. Now you're talking
yeah.
about a car that depreciates in value each day.
Yeah, and they
Christopher,
got millions upon millions of dollars of inventory, because the car business will tell you how the country is doing. And I've
Right.
worked for two major car dealerships just recently this year. And let me tell you something, this place is on its way down because nobody can buy these cars. I mean, a literal, they still got 2022s on the lot. And
Yeah.
if anybody knows anything about cars, he's right about depreciation. It starts from the day it rolls off the floor and it all goes down from there. These cars will eventually go down to zero. And if nobody's buying the cars, the country cannot sustain itself.
I worked I worked for Ford from 2005 to almost the end of 2007. So I'm very, very acquainted with these economic factors and downturns. Christopher, you said so many different things within the two presentations that you gave that were monumental, like and the historic events and so forth. Like what folks may not realize here recently, what happened, which was a hedge to inflation and kept the United States kind of on even keel, was the whole situation with the petrodollar. That is no more. That is no more. And then somebody mentioned something about when you see it being encompassed. We've already been encompassed. You have the enemy's warships on our various coasts, as well as them flying tandem with fighter jets. So we're already seeing these things, and with these immigrants coming in, they are they're giving them what they're giving them because they will allow them to do what they haven't allowed us to do. And for some of us that are older, we've seen it through the generation. How these people come in, they get assistance, They work these jobs. They triple up on houses. And in a couple generations, they all got houses and businesses and everything else. But they're a consumer market within themselves. But they're buying from specialty producers, if you will. As they gain momentum in this country, they become manufacturers of their own specialty goods. For any country to thrive, it has to have a manufacturing base, even if you have a sub country inside of a country. That's why when you see a market pop up, a supermarket in a neighborhood, you can know that neighborhood is gone to whoever's demographic that supermarket belongs. I'm letting us speak.
Christopher, I do want to bring you back up here because I agree, you're bringing up great points far as signal points of a downfall of the economy, and how the interaction of money changing when it comes within the U.S. borders and exchanges outside of the borders. I do want to bring you back because you did bring
Okay.
up some interesting points, and I want us to focus on certain aspects, especially going into the concept of hyperinflation and how the hyperinflation here is similar to the hyperinflation in Germany before the downfall of their economy.
I was interested in him expanding on that because I was going to ask him a
Yeah.
question he actually answered, which was, what are the touch tones? What do we look for that give an indication that things will quicken, the pace will quicken? And he was starting to get into it, and the parallels between Germany and this country. I mean, I'm pretty sure they'll blame us for everything.
Yep.
I just don't want to be the small hat that stayed. That's all.
Oh man, I was thinking that, Doug,
You
because if
know I was
you
going to
look
say
at
that.
no, not that, but how it mirrors what's going on there, because ultimately people don't realize that Germany was pissed off with the small hats because I think they had to pay a form of reparations, I think, to them.
All you need,
Yeah,
the Sister E, all they need is whatever their Führer points them at. And then all we got to do is look at Donald Trump and the black faces that are holding him to account, and we know exactly the target he's going to create and paint for his mob of white nationalists to go at. So, I mean, if it's their money, I mean, they could twist everything around, blame everything that they don't have on Negroes.
but what I
And
don't like is the Dems are using the fake Negro faces to be their spokesperson. And guess what
you know what?
happens?
You know what?
All
We've talked. You know what, Sister? E? We know this. You know what? Everybody knows this woman presented herself as an Indian. So this is nothing more than a giant play of pretend. Seriously, come on, man. I remember when she was on the Rachel Ray show cooking some Indian dish. Now she's cooking collard greens.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
So, I
Yep.
mean, this is everybody's just fooling themselves about this woman, and all of those that they put in front of us to lead us are on board, and everybody just has this amnesia about her being the first Indian and Asian chick, elected to Congress, being the first. They rode that train into the White House. Now they need her in the helm, and suddenly she's a Negro. Man,
Yep.
even she knows that. Look, she doesn't even buy that nonsense,
And
and
what's so
nobody
crazy,
else buys it.
when you look at all the things that's going on with Israel, Russia, and even within those borders, it's black faces that's representing them.
It's a race war. It's a global race war. We are involved in a global, and in the small hats position is the European face in the heart, in the highest spiritual position they can have on the planet, and maintaining their presence there. Well, continue. I'm sorry.
Come on, real. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, because I really believe that when it hits the fan, who are they going to blame? Great example: the Chicago incident with the migrants. The mayor they have the same mayor. The mayor is a black man, right? So think about it. New York, migrant issue. The mayor is a black man. Have y'all noticed that? And I said, if all hell breaks loose, guess who gonna be to blame? The black
They
face.
they associate all of us with Democrats. Usually the racist
Yes.
redneck white people. So anything I say on any social media form that they find in the least bit political, they automatically assume I'm supporting Biden. And
Yep.
so if a Democratic mayor or a black mayor is dealing with migrants, they're gonna make it a Democratic problem, ergo a black problem or a black issue. You're right.
Sister E, you ever
What's up?
notice when there's a picnic and each sandwiches are on the menu? We are always the faces of who's in charge. So when you look at uh, the joint chiefs of the military, who is that? It's a black face.
Yep.
When you look at AFRICOM, who is that? That's a black face. When you look at the ambassador to the UN, who is that? That's a black face. They keep putting the black faces up so that when the chickens come home to roost, who was in charge? See, I saw the Ish picnic when they brought Barack Obama in, because if that didn't work out, they always had a black face to fall back on. And just, to speak to all them black faces, like the Coon Caucus, these are not our people. These people have been groomed for these roles. They have not lived the black experience. And if they do have foundational heritage, their experience is different from ours, in so much as if you have the history we have, I don't even want to say melanin because Kamala Harris didn't mess that all up. Um, but if you have the heritage we have and you up there, you don't have our background. You were groomed. You were in another place. You don't come out the hood. And if you did, we allowed you to be in that office. But if you turn on us and them folks get mad at you, you getting ready to be about to paint Jamal Bowen and the rest of them that got APAC.
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
sorry, I'm landed. I'm landed.
Okay. Okay. So I do want to reconvene with this conversation. We've been out here for 3 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah, we're just getting warmed up.
I see. I see. Y'all get warmed up.
Feel
I
it.
do. I do want to bring Christopher back, and Doug, you can come back as well. Everybody can come
Yes.
back. But I want us to
Yeah.
really delve into the parallelisms, and I'm trying to get it out, between the downfall of the economy in Germany in reference to United States, because people don't realize Germany had a very thriving. It was a major economic system. Most people are unaware of that, and how the demise of their economy led to pretty much, I think, is it World War One and two?
No, well, what happened is World War One led to their being penalized financially,
Yes.
and they were building their economy during the negotiations with the French, and they were, and it was interesting. They ended World War One. It was pretty bloody. They had them they had the Germans really over a barrel, and they held them to account. And so as they built their own economy up and things started going well, the payment was due. Isn't that interesting? the what is it called? I'm sitting there losing my thought. Yeah, they got their reparations. The reparations started kicking Germans' economy's ass. Excuse my language. And so this is what kind of led to the rise of Hitler as they began to blame their ills. Hitler's strategy was to blame the ills on the usury of the small hats and their financial tactics, their banking system. All of this put the great amount of wealth, the control of the wealth that was enjoyed by Germans in small hat hands. So when the payments began due and the country began to wane on money and things started getting bad, as the gentleman pointed out, that's when Hitler rose with a beautiful uh, scapegoat already built and baked in. They already had a preconceived notion because they had been dealing with small hats. Just as they'll have the preconceived notion because their Führer is going to tell about all the Negroes that are at his heels criminally, and any other thing that they can place at our feet. I like that guy, Christopher. You're a plethora of knowledge. I want to hear him speak. I'm done.
Hey,
Doug, you were
Christopher.
right on point. You was right on point. And the thing that really sparked it was when they used the devaluation of the currency to do what you're seeing there do today. Push people out of their property, take their property, buy their artwork and all that stuff at bottom basement prices. And this is what Hitler saw, and it pissed him off. And he's like, I got to rid the world of these people. And that's how it jumped off. Absolutely 100% correct.
Hey, Christopher.
Well,
Can you
I just want to say that I will be willing to come back.
Mhm.
I put it on the chat, my contact info and my YouTube channel, and I just want to end with this, just to bring it to a close with respect to what Doug was asking. I think they're going to do everything in their power to hide the severity of the collapsing dollar. And they're going to use all kinds of tricks and deception and banking holidays, grids going down, anything that they can come up with and that they think they can get away with to put them or keep them on the top, because they know that everyone's going to be breaking down to a lower level. Each day, America, it's like every day, America, the prestige of America, it gets down the peg each and every day. As long as that they are on top, and I think they're cool with it, they're willing to forego their rich opulence of their 40s and 50s. But the thing is, it's going to get so bad where they're going to distract us with actual war, whether it be an actual war like entering World War III, or they're going to try to set off some type of interracial war within this country, or a combination of the two, or they're going to have some type of artificially created false flag type operation when they cut off all the networks, they cut off the radios and the internet or even electricity, and then they're going to declare a banking holiday. And when everything come back online, what you'll see is that all the money will be depleted, like um, all the 401ks and all the pensions that are being managed by the upper crust of those type of agencies. It's all being poured into the financial markets. Those money is going to be taken, and you'll see like the stock market is going to crash. You're going to see all these things going to go down, and then you're going to have all these baby boomers who the younger ones who have not yet retired, and they're sitting high, sitting pretty on their financial egg, and they got their house already paid off. They're going to wake up one day, especially it's going to be on a Friday or something like that, when you're not going to be able to see it. They're going to declare a banking holiday. No transactions will be allowed. Credit cards, Withdrawals. It's going to be all cash basis. If you can find a store that will take only cash, and it may go down for a few days to a few weeks, or even just a weekend. However, they're going to implement that. But once everything come online, they're going to start to implement the new CBDC or some other variant of FedNow that's tied to the FedNow. I'm going to say, well, if you want money, you have to come and get this particular card or this particular chip, or you have to agree to appear at some kind of what do you call those things? Not military base, the other one. Lost for words right now. The FEMA camps, and then to be issued these vaccine cards. They're gonna bring that stuff back. They couldn't really do it with the COVID because not too many people were really accepting it. There was a lot of resistance in our community and in theirs. So they're gonna come up with a new thing and say, well, if you want to get this money, this new created money to help buy your groceries or whatever, it's like this new form of welfare, you got to go get this vaccine card and vaccine pass, and then it has to show that you have all your vaccines and things of that nature for you to be eligible to even get this money. And then it's going to progress from there to having it's kind of hard to explain, but there is a nanotechnology that is embedded in the human body that can click yes or no based on if you got your vaccine updates or not. And it'll generate certain number of cryptocurrencies generated in the human body using their own DNA. So it's going to get to that stage, or let me say this, that's what their plan is. But we know that our Heavenly Father, He has plans for us to prosper. So they may not even be able to even exact that plan. That might be in the works. And when the country is physically invaded by Russia and China and everything is confiscated and those people were put into captivity, that stuff that they had plans for us will be used against them. And I'll leave it there.
So Chris, what you were talking about, those injections, those are the things that were in the vaccine, the mRNA, with the caffeine, and it being able, and they've got a new one now that's able to self-replicate, and so that's why you don't want any lollipops.
Correct.
Yeah, and
This is a patent that was created by Microsoft Corporation called WS 2020600606. That's what I'm talking about. If you read that white paper,
who's the founder of Microsoft?
Your boy Bill Gates.
And what
Mr.
is he
didn't
trying to,
graduate.
what is he
Mr.
trying to
Not a
do?
doctor. Yeah, we all, well, from the onset, we do know that he was bankrolled when he started the corporation. He was bankrolled by IBM and the likes, but we know that in terms of figurehead, that guy's up in front. So that was his baby, and we know this guy is creating all of these things. He's pro-vaccine. He's got patents and all these things, and now he's coming up with patents for the cure for all of these diseases that are coming out from that said lollipop. So I
And
don't want to get too deep into it.
Where's his major activity?
Well, currently,
I understand. His major activity is where the bulk of our people are. But the thing about it is this: always, it's always having the ability to go back. It's like, well, okay, who is this person? Where did he come from? So I'll just cut to the quick. His aunt is Margaret Sanger.
Oh,
And we
wow.
know her get down. We know her get down. And we know that Margaret Sanger is a hero to Hillary Clinton. So it's just like, connect the dots. Da, 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 da. The one thing that our people have to remember is this story is about us. If you take your eye off of that, you're going to lose focus on the true perspective of the story.
Exactly.
It ain't about no global, da, 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 da. No, just read your word, follow your word in the story about us that the Most High told you.
Right.
And you're going to
So
be all right. But you
And,
did. You
and,
got you brother. You
and to add
killing
to
it.
what
You
you're
killing
saying,
it.
if you know who the people of the book are, then a lot of the prophecies that are being fulfilled today will be made evident to the individual. It will be plainly made available to them when they read the scriptures. If you're still stuck on small hats or whatever Balfour Declaration 1984 or 1948 people, you keep focusing on those, then you're not going to understand eschatology. You're not going to understand the prophecy. You're not going to understand what time we're in and why things are turning out the way they are. It's true what they said when all of us were saying back in 2019. There is no going back. So don't fall for the hype. Don't fall for that. What I like to call, my brother and I like to call witchcraft. In 2019, 2020, 2021, they were all on TV and they were saying this mantra over and over again in every channel. We all are in this together. Right? We can win this. Let's flatten the curve. All these things that they were saying was witchcraft. They were trying to convince you that we are in this together. No, we're not together. We know where we're going and we know where you're going. Okay, so I just want to leave it at that because they were trying to trick a lot of our people, especially our elderly folks who are not keen on getting their news from the internet versus or TikTok or whatever versus just putting on the 5 o'clock news or whatever. They trick a lot of our people, man. So we got to make sure as our people, we have to stay not only prayed up for ourselves, but we got to pray for our loved ones who were deceived by taking the initial lollipop and things of that nature. We got to pray for them to make sure that they make it. Because like what was said earlier, the remnant are the ones who still live. We want to be able to be lived, to be alive that day of redemption, because we know what happens after we get there. We get to be restored. As a people, we get to be restored of our health, of our sanity, of our right mind. So we got to stay prayed up, family. And with that, I'm going to say shalom, shalom. Have a great night.
Thank you so much,
You're absolutely
Christopher.
right.
Hey, y'all, make sure y'all subscribe to his channel, Christopher's Corner. Let's get his numbers up. I think you're sitting at 8 subs. Let's get him some more subs out here, y'all. He's giving us some great information. I do want to bring you back. I emailed you, Christopher, to let me know what your availability looks like next week because I'm about to kick off a lot more conversations. So you brought some good information. You know, everybody else who's been up here, they've been up here before and they know they're more than welcome to come up here. But Chris, just like I said, just let me know what that looks like for you. But y'all get his numbers up. Y'all go ahead and sub his channel. I'm gonna be watching some of your videos because I want to see what you're talking about. But how long have you been on YouTube?
Wasn't that long. I was inspired just to recently create the YouTube channel. So I've been putting up a few videos. It's not respective to just finance. It's just overall judgment of America and the redemption of Israel. So I'm going to be putting up more videos up soon, but I'm just not there yet. But two of my videos are breaking down the movie that we all were talking about a few weeks ago, Leave the World Behind. So I put 2 videos up there that breaks down from a Hebraic standpoint of what these hidden meanings mean that when I watch other people's videos was not mentioned. So I'm not going to talk about all the blatantly obvious ones, but just the ones that I've noticed that no one's talked about. So if y'all could just read those 2 videos and just comment, share, like, subscribe, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Christopher. Let me know what you're looking like, and we're going to have these conversations. I'm getting ready to close. I've been here. Thank you again. Thanks everybody who's been up here. Doug, Don P. If I said something to make you upset, I apologize.
No, we
Who
good,
else?
good. We good.
Sons of Judah, and then we got Christopher Blackwell. Everybody, y'all can give y'all final points, and then I'm gonna close out because I am getting sleepy.
Good night, family.
That's your final point. That's it. Good night.
Hey, Sons of Judah, do you have a channel?
That's it. Good night, family. That's it.
That's funny. Sons of Judah,
Adios,
do you have a channel?
muchachos.
Oh, that's better.
That's so funny. He said, "Adios, muchachos." Sons of Judah, do you have a channel? Was he on?
He's probably away from his mic. He's
All
stepped
right.
away from his mic, but I got a channel called the Doug Wright Show. Oh,
Everybody
just
know
want
about the Doug Wright Show.
in there. Just want to plug a little thing. The closing I have is I I'm an interesting cat when it comes to immigration. I for some reason denying people. Oh, thank you. Denying people entry for the purposes of trying to better their lives. Maybe I'm just old fashioned. I mean, I know, no, it's not that. I'll tell you what it is. I drank the Kool-Aid. I was born in '65. And so I watched all the things that elevated whiteness and diminished blackness. And so I believed that these people had good in them. I believed the lie that they told of inclusivity and fairness and equal treatment. I believed all of these things, so much so I joined the Marine Corps, yada, yada, yada. And so when I look at the immigration issue and I guess I'm taken back to that time of youth and just kind of the rose-colored glasses regarding these folks, and wonder why they're not helping every damn one of them and inviting them in and telling them to come on in. I had a different way. I don't think anybody should have excluded from any places they're trying to get safe. And the impact it has could be had elsewhere and not in the black community. You can put them near every other community, and that it could be done well. That being said, we know what's happening is of a nefarious intent. And along with the rest of the panel and others that do shows and others that watch shows, know that this has the most negative impact on our community as it could have ever on any community. If it's not going to have an impact on theirs to the extent that it has on ours. And so, again, I see two trains of thought: those that determine to dig in and fight for what they consider is theirs, never meant to be theirs, never built to be theirs. And then those that begin to, what I say sometimes is, look for the damn exits or look for safety. I'm going to tell you, folks, in Phoenix and in other areas, these immigrants are going door to door, knocking on doors, asking for help. And if nobody answers the doors, they may be prone to walk in and get their own goddamn help. Okay? And the ones that are out of their own control, out of the controlled environment that their society has kept them in, now free, are able to exercise the most heinous kind of crimes on the public, starting with our children. And if you don't have a plan, if you don't have a purposed plan of action to be out of reach or out of the country, then you are asleep at the wheel, man. Because you've said it, I've said it. They're coming for us. They're not coming for anybody else. We can stop with the subterfuge. They want Negroes. We were never meant to go free, and they got some more beating on us to do. You think they done?
I know.
So I got me a little plot of land and I'm gonna run to if I need to, and I dare double dog, triple dog dare anybody come interfere with my little space because it's got my name on it. See, and if you can't get out this country like me, I know I can't. Okay, if you can't get out this country, you better get clear of these hillbillies, because I tell you what, they are preparing for war, and they know what they're doing. And I'll land right there. Y'all have a good night. Thanks for having me on, sister. Thanks for showing my rather aged website. Thanks. I like that. That looks good. Thank you. All right. Have a good one.
You are too funny. All right. I got Doug. You got something you got to say before we close? Not Doug. I mean Don. Don P. You got
Yeah,
something?
I was like, wait a minute, didn't Doug just leave?
That is too funny. I'm getting
we either that or we all showing our age, like much like Doug, born in '64, and our parents were still, they were still high on that ether and believing that change had actually come. And so, our guards were dropped down, and we believed that this time had come. utopia. But we found out something different in the 80s, and it changed the trajectory of our people. And here we are today in this situation. Doug said he can't go, but my compelling feeling is I have to go. Now I do have channels established. We just haven't started broadcasting. It's just like the focus has kind of changed in terms of what we desire to present to the public. So right now I'm just working on something with the elements and organizations, Burkina Faso and those who deal with that, because the question for me was answered. The who am I question that I had since a child, well, those have been answered. I know that my ancestry comes from the Bisa people, and our location was Burkina Faso, and that area right there is where the kingdom of Buddha is located. So a lot of what I'm getting ready to do, it's really all about the relocation for myself, and then also working with these other people. It's like the relocation of my people, starting, in Burkina Faso to the rest of the Sahel that work within, the ASC. And that's really where the Most High has had me focused. It's been a grind because, after he woke me up, the next thing was, you got to come out from her. And the first thing with coming out with her was this political system. And then he was like, come out from her. And that was the physical stance. It's like, okay, so where do I go? So I've been stumbling around for the last, year and a half or whatever. And even though all the signs kept pointing back to Tanzania, at the end of the day, it became Burkina Faso. So, Saints, do what you need to do to find out, because this African American, this black, those are labels they gave you. And if you don't understand the legal definition of black, that's not what you want to be. And I've got, my background, brother was talking, my background's in law, politics, and business from some of the finest universities here domestically and abroad. And so I know what I know. And just, here's the deal. There's a lot of scriptures tied to that word obedience. Like, if you love me, and it's better than a sacrifice. That's your main responsibility. Because if you love your parent, you're going to honor your parent, and you're going to be obedient to your parent. And I'm going to land my plane there.
All right. Thank you. Done. Okay. Christopher, any
I just
last
want to
words?
close out with this message to give all honors and praises and thanks to our Heavenly Father that He gave us His only begotten Son, Yahushua HaMashiach, and to add to what Hot Sauce was saying, because it didn't occur to me until he mentioned it, that we should go to our closets and individually for ourselves, for our family bloodline, to repent and ask for forgiveness of choosing Barabbas versus Hamashiach. Though we have the blood in our hands, let it be for good now, and then acknowledge that sin that our ancestors committed, and then maybe sometime in the future when we do a corporate prayer, we can do it together. Lastly, is that to remember, always follow the Spirit, because what the Spirit tell you to do may not be necessarily what I'm supposed to do or what Sister E is supposed to do. So just be mindful, be open, Keep reading your scripture so you can so you can discern when the Holy Spirit is speaking to you, and to make sure you never ever again trust those people. And when I say those people, I mean the enemies in our midst, not just simply the color of the skin, but the enemies. The same people that came and said we should give these vaccines to these people first. You know, those same people, we now watching people dropping like flies. Never forget stuff like that. Never forget Tuskegee. They're telling us to forget our past, but those little hats never forget those people. So remember, we should always be mindful and remember that what Yahuwah said for us not to trust man. Let us not place our trust in man, but trust in the Spirit and be led of His Holy Spirit, so we can make it to that day of redemption, wherever that day may be. Whether it's 3 months from now, whether it's 2 months from now, or 1 month from now, 50 days, 100 days, maybe next Passover, next Pesach. We don't know, but to allow that Spirit to guide you and lead you, and to be covered in prayer, asking the Father for protection of His hedge of protection to surround you, to surround your loved ones, your children, your house, your cars, and pray every time you leave your house. You pray every time you return home from work. You pray every time you go to bed. You pray every time you wake up, because this is the fight that we have. The, our major weapon is the sword of the Spirit, which is Yahusha. So when we pray in the name of Yahusha, pray for our families and our loved ones, and for your neighbors even, and pray Psalms 91 in the name of Yahusha, so that we might be covered, because we want to escape the sword that's going to fall on the wicked. We want to escape we want to witness with our eyes only the reward of the wicked, according to Psalms 91. We want to see the ultimate fulfillment of Genesis chapter 15, verse 14, when Yahuwah had told Abraham to himself that that we would serve 400 years, and after that he would judge these nations, and then after that we would see the reward of the wicked, and then we would leave a great substance. So let us be all covered in prayer. Cover your families, cover everyone in your household that may have been jabbed, or whatever the case may be, bitten by the snake, whatever you want to call it. Let us all remain prayerful, because we're in a day and age that we have to understand, despite what we may see with our eyes, the war is in the spirit, and our major weapon is when we pray and our praise. So when you don't have what you need, just go to the Father and praise Him. Have a conversation with Yahushua and make that personal connection with Hamashiach, because this truth is about a relationship. It's not about religion. It's not about skin color. It's about the covenant people. It's about a bloodline, blood covenant, and the curses that are laid upon for transgressing said covenant. So let's just keep that mindful. Despite all the ups and downs in your daily life, don't get distracted by the ups and downs of America, or the news of the day, or this person having beef with that person. Both of those people are wicked. Forget those people. Focus on your family. Focus on the word. Focus on what the Holy Spirit is leading you to, because you might be a blessing to somebody else if you are where you're supposed to be in the right time. And with that, I say shalom, shalom, family.
Shalom, shalom, shalom to others. Um, I think Sons of Judah. Are you still here?
I am, sister.
Okay, you did speak. I was trying to see, did you have a channel you wanted to kind of?
I did not. I'm sorry. I was actually looking at Brother Blackwell's channel when you were asking me that question, so I was kind of dozing in back and forth. I'm really sorry
Yeah.
about that.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. You are welcome to come back up. Christopher as well. You're welcome to come back up. Don, you're always welcome. And Doug and Hot Sauce. When it get heated, Hot Sauce is out. He said, I ain't finna stand here and argue with y'all. I'm leaving. I knew when it got heated, he was getting ready to go. He will exit stage left. So, but y'all, I have enjoyed this. I will be doing something tomorrow as well. And next weekend, like I said, I'm gonna start doing consistent panel conversations like I used to back in the day. Um, because we need to be aware of what's going on and be able to have a safe space to talk about it, because it's a lot that's going to transpire in the next couple of months.
Amen.
That's going to shift the spectrum over, and you're going to see them act the way they normally act. You're going to see things what we normally. Yes.
They gonna show themselves.
Yes. So we just got to be aware, especially during that election. The closer we get to this election, the crazier it's gonna get. So,
in all honesty, they already showing the tails.
Yeah, that's gonna get real crazy. It's getting ready to get
All
real
right,
crazy.
I'm
All
gonna
right.
catch you tomorrow night.
All right, same here, y'all. I'm getting ready to go to bed. I will see y'all on tomorrow. Thank y'all so much. Thanks everybody who's joined me up here, and I see y'all on tomorrow.
Blessings.
All right, shalom.
Blessings. Shalom.